This is Rugby Radio.
Rugby Radio
With Stuart Cameron.
Hello and welcome to Rugby Radio, and today it's our Boxing Day special edition covering the annual Waverley Cup match between Gala and Melrose, brought to you by our good friends at Foundever, which also doubles, of course, as a Border League game, where a win for Gala would put them up at the top of the table with Selkirk, with 3 wins in the campaign so far. Well, weather-wise, it's mild for this time of year. We're expecting a little bit of showery rain later and a gentle breeze, but definitely better than we usually get at the end of December. Our commentary team this afternoon is Bruce Millar and Iain Heard, 2 people who we haven't heard from this season, as they're both very incredibly busy. Iain coaching Jed-Forest and Bruce involved with coaching Watsonians ladies and commentating for the BBC and other media companies as well. So good to have him, and great to have Iain as well, and we'll hear from Iain a little bit later on. But let's start with Bruce, and first of all, season's greetings to you.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Stuart.
Yes, good
to be here.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you in ages.
It's been a long time.
Been a long time. How was Christmas in the Millar household?
Oh, I was going to say hectic, but I've got a cheek claiming that I did very much at all. I just sort of tried to herd the kids around, and that was about it.
That's it. So you weren't on cooking duties or anything like that?
I put the prawns together. It's the prawn cocktail. So
not much cooking involved there.
Nobody's ill yet.
So I mentioned that you're involved with Watsonians Women. You have been actually for a couple of years, and a very successful season again, finishing 3rd, but there's a little grimace there in your face because that probably should have been in the top 2 for the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely, yes. It'll sound like sour grapes. But I mean, I suppose there's so many small margins at the top of the table, which is exactly what you want. You just don't want to come out on the wrong side of them, and we did. I'll not bore you with the details, but we came out on the wrong side of them in the last 2 minutes of games against the other top 2 teams. But you've got to, you have to make sure that you come out on the right side of those and not leave it to chance. And we should never have been in those positions. And at the end of the day, we finished second, equal if you like, with Stirling County, but they had scored more points against us than we did against them, and so courtesy of that they went on to the final. But you've got to say congratulations to Kirstoffer Cougars. They went through the season unbeaten, winning some against us, twice against Stirling, and they came out on the right side of it, and congratulations to them. They were well worth their league victory. And a lot of people would think, who aren't necessarily involved with women's rugby or have actually been following it all, but the word Kirstoffer isn't one that you would associate with rugby particularly. I mean, Kirstoffer are down in the East League, obviously, playing rugby for the men, but the women have suddenly shot up. Where does that all come from? Where does it come from? I mean, they've just, I guess, built a good squad, and as you do that, you attract more people to it. So they've got 1 or 2 former Scotland internationals. They've got some youngsters come in as well, and I suppose success breeds success, doesn't it? And to an extent, we've been the same. Because we have been competitive, people want to come and play for us. So. I think that's it. And Kirstoffer on the men's game weren't always down there. It was at RHC before the split. But yes, I've played many's a game up there. But of course, I mean, it's been Kirstoffer at the top and Stirling County second, Watsonians third, Hillhead, Jordan Hill, and then there really is a gulf, isn't there, in the top flight of Premiership rugby at the moment. And I watched a couple of games on BBC Alba, and some of them were pretty embarrassing. There was 100 points in one, 76-0 in the other, which is not a good look. But you've got to start from somewhere, and you've got 4 tremendous teams at the top. How do you bridge that gap? To be perfectly honest, I don't know what the answer is, but you're right in saying that has to happen, and it will just take time. The women and girls, I forget the document, I should know it off the top of my head, but the sort of pathway that they've mapped out, it's really very impressive. I like what they're trying to do. I guess the numbers perhaps aren't there, especially in some of the more far-flung regions of Scotland. You've got Geary way up north at Inverurie, Stuartry, so it's hard for them to pull players in. Arguably there's too many teams in Edinburgh maybe, and it's spread a bit more thinly than through in the west. You've got Hillhead, Jordan Hill, who I think run probably 3 teams, so all sorts of things. But as more and more girls are coming up through the under 16s and now under 18s, I think we'll get more and better players, and so the quality will improve. How you spread them around over all the teams, I'm not very sure, but that's for somebody smarter than me to work out. But as far as I'm concerned, it's very much going in the right direction. And as you said, I think it was so close to the start of the season that the games was decided they'd be televised. It was almost too late to make some changes to fixtures. It was put to teams, and it was going to affect their availability, so that we kind of had to stick to their guns. And I think in another year, those mismatches will probably not be shown on television. But that was just how it sort of had to be this year, as far as I'm aware.
Well, we covered, of course, the Scotland women's games against Fiji and Wales, and I thought the standard was brilliant. And of course, most of the Scottish team, I think there was only one exception, were playing their rugby outside of Scotland. That's something, obviously, which we hope in the future will develop, so that we can get them playing inside Scotland.
Absolutely, and I'm doing a bit of commentary on the Celtic Challenge just now, which is the competition that hopefully bridges that gap. Just seen the one game so far, Edinburgh against Glasgow, and the standard is absolutely superb. And yes, hopefully it will take 2, 3, 4 years, I imagine. I don't know exactly what's planned, but that maybe they manage to keep some of the top Scottish talent in Scotland playing in that competition. I know down in Wales, 1 or 2 current internationals have moved back to Wales from the English Premiership to play in the Celtic Challenge competition. So it's just another thing that will take time, but they've gone about it the right way. They've got full-time coaches now and support staff. It's all televised, and so again, we just have to hope that it works out and wait the 3 or 4 years that these things always take to come to fruition.
Well, from the women's rugby to your commentating, and of course, you mentioned the various competitions that you've been involved with, and I think that's particularly interesting, that you have to be on top of your game, following everything. And of course, today is another thing for you, is the Waverley Cup between Gala and Melrose. Of course, you've had some time down here in Gala in the recent past, and this is a fixture that I'm sure you've been involved with before.
Been involved with and watched, commentated on 2 or 3 times over the years as well, and it's a fixture I always enjoy. It's the spirit in which it's played, and I certainly don't mean in the Christmas spirit. It can be fiery. It's certainly competitive. The teams will go at each other hard, and the fact that it's a double header with the BSBC Border League just adds an extra element to it as well. It's not just local bragging rights they're playing for. There's points up for grabs as well. Both of these teams have a realistic chance of getting themselves into the Border League final. I suspect whoever loses today, that chance is gone. So it's a must-win in terms of Border League. Well,
we certainly look forward to your commentary a little bit later in the programme, and of course we'll be joined by Iain Heard as well. But earlier on today I spoke with co-head coach of Melrose, Scott Wight, and we'll hear his thoughts shortly. But first, Director of Rugby at Gala, and that's Ewen Swinton. Well, Ewen, season's greetings to you first of all. Always a special occasion, the Waverley Cup.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you too, Stuart. I hope that you've had a fine time. This is a really big day for both clubs. The players love it. It's very much part of the Christmas fixture, both in social and in rugby terms, and everyone's looking forward to it. I hope it's a great game of rugby.
And this has been going since 2006, which is marvellous, and because there's lots of different other clubs. I remember the Skelly Cup, which kind of came and went, and sometimes it's being done, but this is like an annual event. I know there's been 3 times where it's been cancelled because of the weather, but there's something a little bit special.
Well, it's Gala Melrose, so it's got all the history that goes way before 2006, and since it came into being, I think it's become really solidly embedded in the players' psyche for its part of the year. I heard someone describe it, in fact I think it was my son described it as a friendly over the festive period. Well, it won't be, it's not a battle, but it is a battle. It'll certainly not be treated as a gentle runabout by either sides. They're both exceptionally keen to come out with the bragging rights, and we can expect a ding-dong battle. But it's a day that's really found its place in the rugby calendar, and it's one that the players love, and they love to be involved in, so it's great.
And it's fairly close as well, 8-6 and 1 draw, so they're in the lead, but I mean, a win today for Gala, all of a sudden you're within 1.
Well, I think we're not paying too much attention to these statistics, Stuart.
We do.
It will be absolutely and good for you, but it'd be good to get back to 7-8. The boys will give it their all today, and I think that we'll see how it turns out, Stuart.
And there's a nice mix, isn't there, of experience and youth for both sides. In fact, they've got 25, you've got 26 players.
Well, that was something that was suggested earlier in the week from Melrose, and it's something that was in our mind as well, to be honest, Stuart. It makes a lot of sense. It's not a game that either side are coming here to lose, so we're not putting out weakened sides and looking to throw boys on just for a runabout, but it's nice to have the option there to bring boys on. They'll play or they won't play. It certainly doesn't mean that either side is not putting everything into it, but it keeps a lot of guys involved on a day which is is a good day to be at the club and be here and just be taking part. So yeah, we'll see how many of them end up playing. It'd be nice if they all get on, but if it's close,
who knows?
They may not.
Now, of course, as you mentioned, it's Melrose against Gala, and Melrose are currently in the Premiership. Gala are in National 1, but you're both having pretty good seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was some concerns for Melrose as they went into the Premiership without bringing in too many players. Although I think what they've recruited, they've done very well with. They are doing the Borders proud. Fantastic performances away from home. From my perspective, I have a bit of Melrose in my blood. My father played for the club around about wartime. I love to see them doing well. I'm thrilled that they're putting on the show that they're putting on in the Premiership. And I think that in terms of them as a challenge for us today, they are used to. Let's face it and be honest about it, they're used to currently a slightly higher level, harder hits, and it's going to be up to our boys to come out and challenge that. And if we can come out with the mindset that we took into the last 50 minutes of our game against Stirling County, then it could be interesting. But I think, they are a league above us and are entitled to feel that they're favourites.
And they're well up as well, 5th in the league in the Premiership. So
doing really well. The away form is fantastic. It makes it fun for them as well. And I think that they're a well-led club. Scott, we've just been speaking to, is a great coach and a really good lad. They're full of a nice mix of very local guys and one or two who've come in to help. So yeah, they're doing really well. And in the Borders, Stuart, you and I absolutely agree on this, I'm sure. We want to see every single club doing the best that they possibly can. And for me, to see Melrose putting up a good show as they are, and to see Selkirk doing so well, Hoyk have rallied as well, and I've got a lot of faith in Kelso. It's great to see Border clubs do well. I certainly very much want to see every Border club win every week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of like we're looking at each team. I think, well, Melrose, they're safe now. They're not going to be going down. Gala's safe as well. Now our concerns are towards like Jed and Peebles, because we don't want any of them to go down. Kelso, obviously, at the bottom. Let's get Selkirk and Hoyk continue their run. We don't want anyone to go down. And we're concerned, obviously, for Berwick at the moment in National 2, because they're in that sort of zone. But mentioning Gala, pretty safe now. There's no question about it. I mean, I know you won't say that, but we can kind of say that. But you only need a couple more points, don't you?
Well, we've got a big game against Glasgow Accies on the 11th of January, and I think that a result there would see us safe, certainly this year. It's a decent argument to say that we're safe just now, but I don't think that's the psyche that you're taking into these games. And we are due to Glasgow clubs a bit of a welcome to Gala on the back of what's happened up there. We were really disappointed to lose the GHA game before Christmas. That was one which I think we felt in our bones. We had a good performance coming after a dreadful one up in Highland. We're doing okay.
I mean, your home form in particular has been exemplary.
Well, the boys, for reasons that we don't completely understand, do seem to produce it at home. And you need it. You need it to be in a survival mode in any league. And to be honest, both the Premiership and Nat 1 this season, the primary goal of 70% of players and clubs has been survival. And Melrose are home and dry, and I think that we are a long way down the road. Maybe just a last corner to turn.
Well, just finally, turning back to today, because it is a Border League match as well, and a win today, of course, gets you right at the top along with Selkirk.
That would be a lovely place to be, Stuart. We'll see what happens. But the Border League is important to us, and I think it's something that's growing a wee bit in the players' minds too, and that's certainly something we want. A lot of these guys who are playing today and for the other clubs haven't grown up with the traditions that other generations had. But for most people who are rugby ingrained in the Borders, the Border League is a really important thing. So we'd love to find our way at the top of that and do well in the rest of the season.
We wish you all the best for today and of course the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Well, Scott, had a good Christmas yesterday?
Yeah, very nice day actually, so I spent it with the family, so it was good.
What about telling your troops today to go to bed at 7 p.m? Was it no booze?
Oh, nah, have fun. Just make sure and turn up with the right attitude. There's good spirits this morning, good energy. Boys seem really keen for it. I mean, there's a few of them that obviously haven't been involved in this fixture either, and I'm certainly back involved for the first time in a while as well, so it's nice to be involved on Boxing Day. And
of course it must be good as well, turning around the end of the year as the top ranked team from the Borders. There's a long way to go, of course, but you're in 5th place at the moment.
I know, definitely things have went well. You look back on the year, are you happy? Of course you're happy. I mean, you know, we didn't really know what to expect. You know, a lot of the boys have spent the last 5 years in National 1, so, you know, credit to them. They've definitely stepped up in terms of performance-wise, and then we've obviously added a few personnel to that. But look, there's a real good feeling at the club at the moment, which is, it's really good to be involved with.
And one away from the playoffs.
I mean, that certainly wasn't. I mean, that was the kind of big audacious goal. If you're chucking one out there at the start of the season, you always say top 4 would be nice, it'd give you something. I think first and foremost it was, you know, the whole survival thing with, you know, 3 going down. But, you know, I think certainly we can start to look up. We've played 3 teams above us twice, you know, so we've only got Ayr to play, who are above us currently at the moment, and then the rest of the games. So, you know, we start back at home as well on the 11th of January, which is quite nice, against Musselburgh. So, you know, boys are keen. We've worked on a couple of things that hopefully we put on the pitch today, but as I said, it's like building for the bigger picture and trying to now push on for the top 4.
A lot of big highlights, of course, last season, and one of them so far is beating Curry home and away.
Brilliant. Really. I mean, you know, you looked at the first 3 weeks before the season started and you thought we're going to get a break here, but, you know, in terms of the attitude, both home and away have been, you know, I would go as far as saying that's the best kind of performance certainly this year at home against Curry, and we just came up short against Watsonians a couple of weeks ago, but I thought, you know, we actually played pretty well against Watsonians as well, but we just couldn't convert the possession and pressure into points, unfortunately. And, you know, they're a top 4 team for the reason that they were really clinical. They didn't get many chances, but they scored when they got them, and, you know, that was really the difference on the day.
A few downers, of course, this season, particularly at the start, as you mentioned, and not winning at home, but you seem to iron that out a little bit later on as well. But it's been a bit of a roller coaster, and from a head coach point of view as well. I mean, we were trying to analyse you, and we failed miserably. It was very difficult to know which Melrose was going to turn up.
No, and I think that's, you know, I think that's the same for everybody. I think the league's so competitive, you know, and it's actually been really enjoyable being a 12-team league. You know, and there's arguments for, arguments against, but, you know, I've certainly enjoyed the 12 teams this year. There's plenty of variation. You're getting 22 games, but I think, you know, if you look at someone like Kelso against Watsonia, you know, you're essentially saying that anybody can be anybody on the day. So, you know, the pressure for us is every week knowing that you've got to turn up, and as you say, what Melrose team is going to turn up, but generally if we turn up we're no far away, and I think we've got better. We've definitely got better at that as the seasons went on, but you've got to. I mean, the reality is if you don't turn up you'll get beat in the Premiership, and that is, I dare say, that's the pressure of being in the highest kind of league in Scotland, that we know if we don't turn up we're probably not got that many good enough individuals that get you through, so we need everybody to turn up 1 to 15. We need the subs to come on and make an impact every week, and, you know, then that becomes hard on us because then we're picking that in selection. We've built up a good competitive squad, which is great for games like this today, because then you get a chance to look at your Matty Bertrams, your Connor Spences, in a team at the Storm that's actually went undefeated. So, you know, they've got a lot of boys banging at the door, but because it's so hard in performance every week, and you go with people that I dare say they've played more often rather than giving people, but today's a great opportunity. Have a look at these guys.
And you mentioned improvements as well. I mean, a lot of these boys were playing National 1 rugby last season, and they've come out and they're fighting their way into the first team, and that's going to be a brilliant thing for the club.
Oh no, definitely. And I mean, you know, that's, you know, if you get Ian Chisholm involved in terms of their work alongside joint head coaches and stuff, and that's certainly the pathway. You know, we've got to get something that's sustainable. Yes, you add 1 or 2 boys in there year to year, wherever they come from in terms of quality, but you're bringing those boys in that are like real good and they're definite starters every week, and the majority of the squad, and you've got to have something that's sustainable for the years to come. So it's great to have 2 teams every week, which is really positive for us. We field 2 teams every week without fail, and then also I dare say the credit to those guys, because they're winning in the Storm, so then that putting pressure on the top, so then you've got to perform at once because then it comes back to then us as coaches and then making the right decisions for the opposition and for the game plan that you want to play that week.
So it's the Waverley Cup today. It's something which has been going now since 2006. You've been involved as a player, of course, and a coach as well. There's something very special about it.
Definitely. I think, you know, it's just where club rugby is, and it's great to have these local games. And I mean, that's evident when you play your Melrose Selkirk, Melrose Kelso, the crowd's definitely bigger. But I think it's even more special. You know, a lot of people come home at Christmas time, Boxing Day, the weather's great this year. So I mean, you know, I think there'll be quite a big crowd, and, you know, a lot of these guys probably won't play in front of a crowd of this size. So, you know, it's special, and I think because it's Melrose Gala, it makes it a wee bit more special, you know. So, and I don't think Melrose have won here since 2018. So, you know, so it's a difficult place to come. We know there's 2 leagues apart, but everybody knows, and you're back to your performance thing again. If we turn up today and we don't perform, we'll get beat. and that's the nature of the beast. So boys have turned up early, we're pretty focused, we've just been out on the pitch, went through a couple of things, so it gives them now to 2 to do their own thing, and then we'll come back out and get a bit of the atmosphere and start warming up at 2.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, and of course for the rest of the season as well, but in particularly for today. Thank you.
Thanks again, Stuart.
There we are. That was Scott Wight talking to me earlier, and before that it was Ewen Swinton, the Director of Rugby at Gala. Well, joining me at the back of the stand now is Iain Heard, who will be summarising for us today with Bruce Millar. And of course, Iain, you've been involved with Gala YM for quite some time now, but you'll be saddened with that news that we heard earlier in the season of them pulling out of the league in the bowl.
Yeah, very disappointing, Stuart. I mean, it's I think it's maybe been a couple of seasons it's starting to be struggling a little bit. I mean, it's indicative across the board at the moment. You know, Hawick haven't got a second team. You know, Jed are struggling for a second team. A couple of other teams, you know, they're not playing their fixtures week in, week out. Hopefully, and certainly from what's been said in the press so far, and I think it's just one of these things. It's a bit like the perfect storm where we've had injuries. They've got guys moving on to other clubs, guys retiring, and families as well. You know, there's a lot of guys there in their mid-20s that are having kids, and you know they're there to look after kids at the weekend and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's just a bit of a perfect storm. But hopefully, if we can keep going through the sevens, get a few friendly games going, and as the guys have said, we'll hopefully be back again next year. Pick up some players from around that maybe are looking for games, and hopefully we can get back into East 3, providing obviously the SRU allow us.
How difficult is it to take part in what we call junior rugby, the East League, the Caledonian League, that sort of level? Because as you say, it's social rugby, but it's also competitive as well, and but hard to get people on the park.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the first time I was involved coaching was probably about 2017, 2018, something like that. And we had a bit of an influx of players. There was a few young lads came back whose pals were playing, and they kept in. And there was a conscious decision at the time that we were going to be a competitive, but in the main social. So a lot of the guys had no real desire to maybe play for other teams or go up the ladder. They just wanted to play with their mates. But it's just so difficult, and there's Eddleston doing really well this year, but they've had their struggles in the past, and it's if it's not Gala YM, it's going to be somebody else. I know, the Hawick Quins and Hawick Lindeen, they've struggled, and you speak to their match secretaries, and they're really supportive of what's happening, because they understand they've been in that position, and barring a few injuries or a few problems, they could be in the same position again this time next year.
And Hawick Harlequins, of course, they actually did drop a season, didn't they? And there was fears that they might not be able to get a team back. But to be fair, they've managed it, and they're doing pretty well again in East League 2. Yeah, it's great to see. I mean, I think unfortunately, and when it comes to crisis, people do start to sort of pop their head up and they'll play games. And I think if we can get to the stage to realise that in the main it's more social rugby than competitive rugby, that they'll hopefully come back, and we'll get back to the stage where we've got teams in, week out, and we can compete again at East 3, and the guys are getting a game, because rugby is struggling for players across the board, and we need places for them to play, and if that's Gala YM, if it's Hawick Quins, if it's Gala second, Melrose seconds, whoever it might be, we need people playing rugby, because without them they can't then feed up to the first teams, and then they start to struggle as well. Of course, we're 4 years away from the centenary of Gala YM, and of course there'd be nothing worse than for things to sort of go belly up before that happens. You're fairly confident that they can regroup and get things together? Well, having spoken to the boys that are involved more involved than I am, it certainly seems to be the case. So hopefully their hopes and their thoughts are justified, and they can get back on the pitch next season. I know what I was going to ask you about, this docking of points, that sort of kicking teams when they're down. I mean, they're going through bad times as it is, and then bang, -4 here, -4 there. I mean, there must be a better way, surely. Yeah, I've never quite been able to work that out. As the issues around that is that you get 3 points deducted, and then you have to replay the game. I know that one of the times as match secretary at the YM, I notified the SRU, and a very nice, kind message from Gary Alexander at Hawick Lindeen, just to say, look, they were very supportive of what we're doing. They understood they'd been in that position, etc., etc. And the response from the person that deals with that at the SRU as well, basically
not in as many words, but tough. You're still getting deducted 3 points. You'll have to play the game at a later date, and probably best not to say too much more about that. And
so let's move on then.
Yeah, I think so. It's probably safer to do so.
And of course the reason we haven't sort of seen you working with Rugby Radio this season is because you've been involved with Jed-Forest in a coaching capacity. How are you enjoying that? Yeah, it's great fun. I mean, I was sort of planned to sort of pretty much finish up certainly the refereeing side of things due to injury last year, and not really planned to do anything else, and then Stuart Johnson gave me a call and sort of helping out. It's interesting. It's working with a really good bunch of guys. They're all really committed to what they're doing. We've had a few injuries like every club, but like anything else, if you get injuries in key positions, it can be a problem, and you get good performances and bad performances, and it's really enjoyable. I think the most difficult bit for me is that for 30 years I've had not really no interest in who wins or loses a game, but Saturday night now it's if we win I'm happy, if we lose I'm not quite so happy, so it's difficult getting over that a little bit. And Jed have had some great wins this season, haven't they? They're still not out of danger totally, but you'd imagine a couple of home wins and you're probably safe. Yeah, I mean we've only got the one home game left against Peebles, just the way the fixtures have worked, so it's going to be tough. We've got Stirling up on the 11th of January. That's going to be a really tough game, although we went out against GHA with a team that had 4 changes at 9 o'clock in the morning due to illness, and we ran them very close, and bar for probably a lucky bounce of the ball, we could have certainly got a point, if not got 4 points out of that. But there's been some interesting games. I mean, the Glasgow Accies game was probably the strangest game of rugby I've been involved in 30 odd years. We're 33-5 down at half time. It looked like nobody had met each other until the morning of the game. Tackling was optional, and then we got a couple of tries in the second half and finished up beating them 40 points to 38 with the last kick of the game. It was just amazing. It shows the guys are really committed to it. I think there's been a lot said about the last couple of years with them, and maybe that wouldn't have happened, but they're sticking in for each other, which is really good to see. And we've had a lot of good second half performances, and hopefully we can nick a couple of wins and keep us up in the division, which means next year we've got a few youngsters in at 18-year-old that are going to benefit from another season and playing alongside likes of Clark Skeldon, Lewis Young, Gregor Young, Rory Marshall, the experienced guys in the team. Okay, well, the time is just about come. We're a minute away from kick-off, so what we're going to do is bring in Bruce Millar as well. Don't forget, we're on the air till 5 o'clock this afternoon, but now we're going to be bringing you exclusive live coverage of the Waverley Cup and the Border League double-header between Gala and Melrose, and bringing our commentary team, Iain Heard, as we've just heard. And first of all, it's the dulcet tones of Mr. Bruce Millar.
Thank you very much, Stuart. And yes, looking forward to this one. Guard of Honour waiting patiently down in front of us. We look forward to this Waverley Cup Border League double header. Kick off at 3 o'clock. And Iain, it's been a while since you and I sat here. I think it was probably 2 years ago. We were commentating in this very spot. Let's run through the sides quickly, and you can perhaps pick out one or two big matchups for us today. So in the front row for the home side, Gavin Fisher, Gavin Eason and Kyle Scott. Second row pairing of Robbie Irvine and Glenn McCrum. And in the back row, Captain Angus Dunn is alongside Jamie Bell and Fraser Wilson. Half back for Gala, Eddie Eyre is partnered with Harris Rutherford, currently plying his trade with San Diego in the MLR across here in his off-season. Exciting to see how he's developed over there. In the centres for Gala, John Turnbull is alongside Callum Pate, and at the back three of Gregor Collins, Ben Gill and Murray Wilson. There's just about as many people on the bench as there are on the starting side for Gala, so we will just do our best to keep up with names and number changes and bring them to you as the game goes on. For Melrose, on the front row, Will Ferry, Logan Kirk and Zen Jivijak. Angus Weir is with the captain, Angus Runciman in the second row, and Jack Wilkes, Alan Ferry and Elliot Ruthven in the back row. Jimmy Cool partners Luke Townsend at half back. Struan Hutchison was originally named on the bench. He comes into the starting side alongside Connor Spence. And in the back three, Matty Bertram on the left wing, Hamish Weir on the right, with Corey Goldsborough at fullback. So two decent looking sides. Iain, pick us out some key matchups.
Yeah, it's interesting, Bruce. I'm looking at the teams, and obviously having played against Gala a couple of weeks ago with Jed. There's a few changes there. Front row, they did really well against us. They were outstanding. 3 nuggety little characters that will get in amongst them and keep the scrum nice and low, and they certainly held their own and more against us. Couple of changes in the second row, or one change in the second row with Glenn McCrum coming in, with putting Fraser Wilson at 8, which is quite an interesting move. Fraser, I think, really benefited from a year at Hawick, or a couple of years at Hawick. He was quite impressive against us. Eddie Eyre at 9. I've seen Eddie last year. He was involved with the South District Union. I was quite impressed by him. Backline looks pretty solid. Murray Wilson at fullback instead of his usual centre, which is interesting. And as far as the Melrose team, again, there's a few that I recognise, a few that I don't recognise these days. Jimmy Cool at 9, not a name I've seen before, so it'll be interesting to see how he does against with Luke Townsend. But I think, Harris Rutherford against Luke Townsend, both guys that have got a bit of second level experience at Scottish level. I think the front row will be a big match-up as well. Back row will be interesting. Angus Dunn always puts in a huge shift wherever he goes. And again, centre-wise, it's interesting now we've got Struan Hutchison in instead of Andrew Nagel. You'd probably think that's going to change a little bit the way that Melrose will play. I thought Andrew would be a bit more direct. Struan's a bit more of a distributor and a silky runner, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I'll probably better get the mention in now, but it'll be interesting to see how the Gala number 6, my 18-year-old nephew Jamie Bell, gets on today. It's his first game for Gala, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
Well, we're being told that there's a slight delay, so it'll be another 2 or 3 minutes before the players come out on the pitch. These two sides, of course, in different divisions now. Melrose promoted last year with all the changes post Super Series, so we don't see the two going head to head perhaps as often as we would like in their respective divisions. Gala sitting 4th in National League Division 1, having won 7 games, lost 5, drawn 1. For Melrose, they're sitting 5th in the Premiership, won 7, lost 6. And looking at the Border League, Melrose just played that 1 game, beaten 24-22 by Selkirk. As for Gala, they played 3 games, beaten by Kelso in their opening encounter, 37-19, and then they beat Jed-Forest in 20 points to 14, and they saw Peebles 32 points to 17. So both still very much in with a shout of winning themselves a final place. Selkirk currently sitting top of the pile, Hawick yet to play, so still probably too much to happen for us to predict anything, but I suspect whoever loses today is out of the running.
I would think so, yeah. I think for me that one of the interesting things that's going to be today is that difference in physicality, because obviously Melrose are up against 3x Super 6 teams or 4x Super 6 teams. It'll be interesting to see what the physicality is like with them. Certainly Gala, when they played Jed 2 or 3 weeks ago, the defence was absolutely outstanding. They're flying in from all directions, just cutting everything off its source. So I think for me that'll be the big test of the Gala pack today. Will be the physicality brought by the likes of Angus Runciman, Alan Ferry, Zen, Will Ferry as well. These are all guys that probably played a bit of Super 6, Zen as well. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these guys cope with that. I think if Gala can match them in that area, we'll certainly be in for a good game, which it should always be.
Well, the sides now making their way out onto the pitch. Melrose out first, and now out come Gala, led by their captain Angus Dunn. I'm wondering if there's perhaps a number change there. Angus Dunn will now be wearing number 6, so we'll look out closely for your nephew. Did you say, was it
yes,
Jamie Bell?
Jamie's playing number 7,
playing number 7, and it looks awfully like, well, we're minus a referee, but Stephen Turnbull, our referee today, an experienced guy.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. We were just talking about this before we came on air. Is that some of the obviously now coaching the refereeing side of things, and it's very difficult to believe that Stephen has only had 1 game in second division this year, or the national one. It's quite scary to think he's not been given more games than that. So very experienced, and he'll certainly let the game flow.
Well, he is now out on the pitch, and Harris Rutherford, we mentioned already, is the man who will get the match underway. So a blast in the whistle of Stephen Turnbull gets the 2024 Waverley Cup match started. Harris Rutherford sends the ball long into the Melrose 22, and that ball just gets thumped, well, almost out, but it's been kept in by Gala. Hit hard by Melrose defence, just on the Melrose 10 metre line. So Gala keeping it tight for now through the forwards. But isolated there, Angus Dunn. The support get there in time. Eddie Eyre sweeps the ball off to Harris Rutherford. Then Robbie Irvine cuts back inside. A slow ball here for Gala. Rutherford in behind Murray Wilson. Melrose defence swarming all over the Gala attackers. There is Jamie Bell wearing the number 7 jersey. Rutherford again. That's slick handling by Gala. John Turnbull slips his way out of a tackle. Still on that Melrose 10 metre line. Gala keeping a hold of possession. Now there's some space out there for Angus Dunn. Just a tap tackle by Connor Spence. That was important by the Melrose outside centre. Had to be made, but Gala now up on the fringes of the 22. Harris Rutherford puts that ball in behind. Picked up by Connor Spence. So that's 2 important interventions by Spence, the Melrose outside centre. That tap tackle and then back tidying up for his side. And Alan Ferry, blindside flanker for Melrose, takes the ball into contact. Melrose happy to play inside their own 22. That's been snapped up though by Gala illegally. A referee, I think, awarding the try to Melrose. You'll know exactly what's happened there, Ian, but a frenetic open. Gala initially struggling to make any ground, keeping a hold of possession on the 10 metre line, but suddenly racing away up into the 22, denied though by good Melrose defence.
Yeah, some really good play there by Gala. They kept a hold of the ball. A couple of times they got isolated, but somebody was in there quick to secure ball. Then they just managed to get a bit of a mismatch. John Turnbull went on the outside of his opposite, of the player opposite him, made a bit of a break, and then they recycled ball quickly, floated pass out to Angus Dunn, and bar a little bit of a tap tackle, he was close.
The first line out of the day, untidy, but it does come back on the Melrose side. That's Melrose with their first attacking opportunity. That's good. Offload by Zwarzak. Goes loose. It's been hacked off by Struan Hutchison. There must have been a knock on in there somewhere. There was indeed, so it'll be a Gala scrum.
Yeah, good bit of play there. There was Melrose player took that in and just got his hands free. Chance for Alan Ferry there to go, and just unfortunately dropped it because it takes a bit of stopping. So he was gone. He was in open space. So it's been a frenetic start with some good running rugby already. It's hopefully we can continue this.
So scrum centre field, just on the Gala side of halfway, I should say. Gala playing in their traditional maroon jerseys towards the Fairy Dean end here, and Melrose in their black and gold. So it will be Eddie Eyre to feed a Gala scrum. 4 of the Gala backs off to the left, and that's the way Gala go with Harris Rutherford. And then out to Callum Pate. He takes play up to the Melrose 10 metre line over that far side of the pitch as we look beyond the pitch to the Eildon's. Got to be one of the most scenic grounds. Not much used to you listening on the radio, but in Scottish rugby, that's a big hit on the captain Angus Dunn. Solid Melrose defence. And then Gavin Fisher angling in back towards the breakdown. The Gala loose head prop. The Gala looking secure in possession in the opening stages of this Waverley Cup match. It's the hooker. Gavin Eason now makes good ground with the carry up towards the 22 again. Eddie Eyre, quick ball out to Rutherford. In behind to Callum Pate. Stabs that ball through. Corey Goldsborough looking for a kind bounce. Doesn't get it. Goes into touch about 5 or 6 metres from the Melrose line.
Yeah, some good play there by Gala. They've got these 2 lines of attack where they throw a couple of forwards up just in front and then throw the ball out the back. Then Harris saw the gap in behind. A couple of times they've burst the tackle. Jack Eason there, basically ran through a tackle, and it's given them that good go forward ball, quick ball, and it looks like the ball's been put into touch by Melrose. It's a Gala throw 5 metres for the line, so gives them a good opportunity to try and win ball and either drive it over or get somebody on a strike run from 10.
It's an even better outcome than I thought. I didn't realise it had been touched by a Melrose player. So Gala just on the 5 metre line. It's a good throw to the front of the line out. Them all well set here for Gala. Now they're starting to inch forward. Forced to play away though. And it's a loose pass as John Turnbull had to turn round to take that. Does well to get his side back on the front foot. Round the corner comes Kyle Scott, the tight head prop, but again the penalty going the way of Melrose. That's 2 attacks Gala have had in the 22, on both occasions Melrose winning the penalty.
Yeah, good solid defence there by Melrose, a really good chop tackle to begin with, and the Gala inside clear just wasn't there. Arriving Melrose player got straight on ball, and Kyle Scott didn't have an awful lot of option there just to hang on. But yeah, good rugby again by Gala, just unfortunate off the back of that line out that the pass to John Turnbull didn't go to hand. It sort of stutters the attack a little bit, they've got to rethink, and unfortunately they got isolated there and turned the ball over.
Well, it's been an all-action opening 5 minutes in this one at Netherdale, but it's still Gala 0, Melrose 0. This Boxing Day clash. And it's Melrose to throw into the line out through Logan Kirk, and that's the second throw that has not gone where it was intended, but fortuitously for Melrose comes back on their side. And the switch of play by Jimmy Cool out to the right. Slow ball again here for Melrose. Look like they're shaping up perhaps for the kick. Jimmy Cool threads the ball back through the legs of the forwards and dinks that one over the top, but perhaps a little too far. Easy here for Gala as Rutherford weighs up the options. He had players out to his right, but opts to put boot to ball, taken by Corey Goldsborough, the Melrose fullback. Well, the Gala players were never on side, so it's a penalty to Melrose. Quick tap just on the Gala side of halfway. Away goes Corey Goldsborough, gets the ball back in field to Struan Hutchison, but I think they'd already put a foot in touch. However, Gala not back 10, so Melrose now with a penalty about 25 metres out from the Gala line.
Yeah, it's a poor penalty really. It wasn't the greatest of kicks by Harris Rutherford right down Goldsborough's throat, which didn't help too much. I mean, Harris does a really good job of that on a regular basis, getting the 50-22s, and then there's just too many Gala players in front. Obviously Goldsborough getting the ball and start to attack puts them on the back foot straight away, and then Jack Wilkes, Jimmy Cool, the Melrose 9 took it quickly, and Gala were never back 10.
Well, Melrose need their line out to function here. Logan Kirk, that's a better throw by the hooker, taken down into the hands of Elliot Ruthven, the number 8. And Melrose over, now. Well, Melrose still driving forward. I can't see the ball in there. Well, it has been turned over now because that doesn't come back out as the maul goes to deck and taken in by Melrose. Gala scrum.
Yeah, the ball popped up in there a little bit there just now. I think it was, not sure which of the Gala players got his hands in the ball, which meant there was little or no chance it was coming back on the Melrose side after that.
So, good defence, because that originally it looked well set. That's the third line out by Melrose. It's the first one that's really functioned as it was intended, and a great attacking opportunity comes to naught. So Gala denied twice in the 22. This time Melrose denied with their first real opportunity of the game.
Yeah, so be interested about a defensive scrum for Gala, 5 metres from their own line. There was a little bit of power coming on from Melrose in the first scrum. They've got to really hold out here, clear their lines, whether it's straight to Harris Rutherford and kick the touch, or whether they put it out, probably more likely to Turnbull, and he'll hit up and then give Harris a bit more space to clear the touch.
Yeah, so this scrum 10 metres in from the stand side. So Gala's right, and their back division all standing in the in-goal area. And eventually we'll get this ball into the scrum. Eddie Eyre just waiting on Stephen Turnbull getting it set. Now the pressure does come on from Melrose, so it is played away quickly. You were bang on, Ian. Out it goes to the centres and John Turnbull. Doesn't make much ground, but goes back to Rutherford. Catches that one nicely. Not sure that one will go out. It's been taken by Hamish Weir. Whipped across to Goldsborough, already looked dangerous with ball in hand. Heads across to the far side, looking for space, almost through, but taken down. An important tackle by Callum Pate. Melrose now up into the 22, looking to keep the pace high here. Back to the captain, Angus Runciman. Out to, is that Goldsborough again? Looking a little isolated. In goes Will Ferry to secure possession. And wild pass by Angus Weir, playing at scrum half. Struan Hutchison throws a nice pass out to Matty Bertram over on the far side. Melrose right flank, still inside the 22. Ball pulled back by Alan Ferry. Sound Gala defence for now, but finding themselves under pressure for the first time in this game as Alan Ferry tries to weave his way through close to the breakdown. Quicker ball for Jimmy Cool. Out it comes. It's a nice line by Corey Goldsborough. Ball lost though in the tackle. And Gala with an advantage. The referee says none coming, so we'll have another scrum, but Melrose going through the phases, Gala holding firm.
Yeah, some nice little bits of play by Melrose there. When Goldsborough in the initial break just was tackled and no more, there was quick ball. Cool was quick to realise that there was a little gap in behind. Gala hadn't got their defence set quite right behind the ruck, and he made another 3 or 4 metres, and then unfortunately it came out towards the stand side, and it was pretty much all forwards, so it broke down a little bit, but they kept hold of the ball well until they just tried to throw that one extra pass there, where it would have been better just to take contact, hit the deck and recycle and go again.
So the scrum again taking a while to set. Corey Goldsborough has certainly been impressive in the 15 jersey for Melrose so far. Morris Rutherford has looked good for Gala. They picked from the scrum out to Eddie Eyre, who tried to clear, didn't catch that one nicely at all. That just comes straight off the side of the boot into touch, so Melrose line out about 12 or 15 metres out from the line. So it will be, just getting some number changes in the Melrose back division. I think there'll be all sorts of changes later on because they're going to have to share jerseys and all sorts, but so we'll do our best to keep up with that. The Melrose line out secure again. That's a good strong run by Elliot Ruthven, the number 8 from the line out, scythe down though, and then side entry, so another penalty. So both sides having opportunities inside the 22, but for now the defence is on top when we get into the red zone.
Yeah, good defence there. It was a really good line that came from Elliot Ruthven off the line out there. Caused a lot of problems. Unfortunately for him though, his supporting player was just overran it, came in for the side. Not the type of penalty gets picked up too often by the referees because they're usually looking at defence, but well done to Stephen Turnbull for that one there. It's, it does have a big effect because the defender has done the positive work there to get in the position to win the ball, and then the attacker comes in from the side, and he should be penalised more often.
And it was a nice play by Melrose just off the top of the line out. Jimmy Cool just taking 1 or 2 steps and Ruthven angling back in, and he was travelling at a rate of knots, took a bit of stopping, and that's all happening on the Gala 5 metre line. At the clearing kick by Harris Rutherford takes play up to the Gala 10 metre line. Gavin Eason the man to throw in, just right down in front of our commentary position. Stolen at the front of the line out though by Melrose. So the visitors, having been under the cosh a little in the opening 5 to 10 minutes, just gradually winning back the momentum in this game. It's a low pass from Cool, but it's taken well, and then Stuart Hutchison hammered as they tried to kick that ball away, and then thumped off downfield by Gala. Back goes Luke Townsend. Can't take the ball cleanly on his own 22, but no knock on. Stephen Turnbull having a quick word with his assistant over on the far side. Well, they have decided it was a knock on, so mistake by Luke Townsend, and Gala now back in the attack with a scrum in the Melrose 22.
Yeah, interesting call there. I mean, I don't think either were particularly in a good position to make that decision, but at the end of the day they're better than we are at the back of the stand, and he got the angle, so the good communication to get the decision, whether it's right or not, just the two of them will know. So it gives Gala a really good opportunity here if they can hold the scrum. They've been under a little bit of pressure. Certainly the last scrum Melrose were intent on trying to push them over, so Fraser Wilson at the back got a bit of time, so an 8-9 here, if Melrose do go for the 8-man shove, it could really be useful for them.
So Gala scrum, it's just outside the 22. Well, we've got the scrum in and out at the first time of asking this time. It's good pressure by Jimmy Cool and Eddie Eyre, who just took too long to think about getting his pass away. But still with Gala, keeping things tight for now. Jamie Bell with the carry, Glenn McCrum with the clear out, and Gala now keeping it tight, just attacking round the fringes. The forwards picking and going, making 2 or 3 metres inside the 22. Now Eddie Eyre out to John Turnbull, but another penalty, this time going to Melrose. A neck roll, I think. Yeah,
Robbie Irvin's just come in there to try and dislodge the Melrose jackler and just got him round the neck and rolled him over. Yeah, difficult one with those. Again, you've got that situation there where when Jamie Bell went in there just now, he was hit high, but he was dipping, so they let go of that. And then obviously when you get that neck roll, it's dangerous. But again, it's how do you move the player that's on the jackal?
So from the penalty, Melrose take play back just into the Gala half, over on the other side of the field. So Melrose right flank, and the line out throw goes to Angus Runciman. Off the top out to Ayr, and it's quickly out into the midfield, and the hard running Alan Ferry taken down on the Gala 10 metre line, centre field. Luke Townsend out on the left. It's good interplay. Melrose have manufactured a bit of space down this left touchline, and a good carry by Connor Spence takes play up to the edges of the 22. Luke Townsend surrounded by Gala players as well to get the ball away to Struan Hutchison. And it's still with Melrose. Jimmy Cool. Luke Townsend had to take that pass above his head, looking cool as ever, and a hint of a space round the side of the breakdown. Gala have closed the door there very quickly as Melrose carry just into the 22. Townsend again in behind the forwards, and there's space out again for Elliot Ruthven. And Ruthven taken down 2 or 3 metres inside the 22 now as Melrose just inch their way forward. Alan Ferry now. Big carry from the blindside flanker. Townsend, flat pass out into the midfield. That's a siding tackle by Gavin Fisher, the prop. Townsend again just pulling the strings here. Corey Goldsborough looking for space. So Melrose going side to side, but still just stuck on the edge of that 22, as Will Ferry now with the carry. The Gala defence just holding firm, strung across their own 22. Now some space for Alan Ferry, and he's through, and Alan Ferry will go in for the first try of the match. And it's been 16 minutes in coming, but the run by Ferry, the blindside flanker, and Melrose take the lead.
Yeah, Townsend's been looking for that all afternoon so far. He's trying to hit that flat pass across, and this time Ferry timed his run really well and just got through the tackle. I think it was possibly Angus Dunn, which is really unusual. But again, it was just that momentum that he had, which meant that Dunn was always just tackling with the end of his arm, and therefore didn't get the shoulder in there. And Ferry just rode the tackle. Goose stepped out of it, and he's not going to be stopped from about 15-18 metres out. So yeah, I think probably on the balance of play so far, Melrose just about deserved the lead. Gala had their opportunities early on, but Melrose have just kept hold of that ball that little bit better, and they've just looked that little bit more dangerous with runners coming off Townsend and also Struan Hutchison as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Gala get back down the other end, try and get a bit of ball, keep a hold of it, because they have looked dangerous when they've got the ball a little bit wider. And got one-on-ones, so we'll see what happens in the next 10 minutes or so.
Struan Hutchison adds the extra, so Melrose leading by 7 points to 0 after almost 18 minutes here at Netherdale in the Waverley Cup and BSPC Border League double header. The Melrose back row, Elliot Ruthven and Alan Ferry, they're running some lovely lines, just angling slightly back in, and it's just catching the defence out hard to handle, especially when they're running as hard as that. Harris Rutherford from the restart sends the ball back down into the 22, and Matty Bertram on the right wing for Melrose with the catch. And Melrose now just setting up here for the clearing kick. Jimmy Cool once again just feeding the ball back and sends it over the top. There's 5 Gala players waiting on this one, and they will just look for space back in behind. He was down the middle of the field, taken by Corey Goldsborough, his 22. I don't think he ever had any other thought than to run. Certainly a man to watch with ball in hand, and crawls his way up to the Melrose 10 metre line. There's numbers out in this left flank for Melrose. If they can get quick ball here, will they go to the right instead? And it's been knocked on by Robbie Irvine as he tried to intercept the ball. Melrose would have perhaps been better continuing to the left.
Yeah, I mean, the box kicking, I've been really impressed with Jimmy Cole so far. I think he's been quick around the breakdown. He's in there quick to get ball, and he's quite happy to snipe. His box kicking's been a little bit long, so like so there you got Fraser Wilson passing his brother Murray, but then Murray kicks and it's a little bit aimless. It's going right between the 15 and Goldsborough and Matty Bertram on this side, and Goldsborough looks really dangerous. So when they're kicking back, they've got to try and hit grass. They've got to try and hit closer at the corners, get that chase a bit better, so that they're only really giving Melrose the outside line, the touch line. They're not giving them as much space as they're giving them so far.
Well, Melrose from the scrum midway between their 22 and 10 metre line, and quickly taking play up over halfway through Goldsborough and then Matty Bertram. Jimmy Cool, he thought he saw space in the left, just rushed his pass. That's been knocked on by Melrose.
Yeah, again, they're just getting that ball in space. Goldsborough's looking dangerous every time. He's looking to go on the outside shoulder. This time, Callum Pate, who's absolutely phenomenal in defence, tackling wise. But again, it's still he's going around the ankles, which is good. That's what they're looking for. But it gives him the opportunity. Matty Bertram had the opportunity to step inside and keep the ball alive.
So a scrum then just right down in front of our commentary position at the back of the Netherdale stand. It's just 5 metres in from the touchline on the Gala 10. It'll be Eddie Eyre to feed the scrum here. The scrums are a bit untidy at the start. Well, having said that, that one's just gone straight down. Stephen Turnbull come round to have a quick word with the assistant referee on this side. What are you seeing at the scrums, Ian, former referee?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Will Ferry. I'm not sure how much Will's played at prop, because I know he plays a lot of back row, but just his body angle. For me, he's starting to just slip and go in on the angle. There was one of the scrums earlier on that collapsed. It was clear that it just went straight in, but we'll see if he does it again. If there's any sense he won't, because Stevie Turnbull's standing right in front of him.
If there's any sense he wouldn't be in there in the first place.
This is
plays
very
the back
true.
row,
Yes.
wants to offer to play a bit of front row, but well, it goes down on this side, and Will Ferry wins the penalty.
Yeah, he was fine that time. Yeah, his body angle was really good. So again, he's done the right thing, and Kyle Scott did go to his knee first, so yeah, no issues with that.
So Will Ferry wins a penalty for his side, and Luke Townsend will put Melrose into the 22. Didn't have a great angle to work with there, so it's just inside the 22, but another good attacking opportunity for Melrose. They already lead by 7. What can they find from the line out here? They went very close on the last occasion with Ruthven's line.
Yeah, looking at the setup here, I'm sort of looking more towards, you've got Ruthven in at the scrum half position, so you're thinking more towards the drive. Well,
it's been taken in the middle and fed back to Ruthven, and Melrose, we've got 2 Gala players round on their side in the shape of Robbie Irvin and
one,
I think Kyle Scott, but they're still marching towards the line as Jimmy Cool fights to get the ball out into the midfield, and that's good interplay between the centres, but it was read well by the Gala centres, and Callum Pate with the tackle. It's flung out to Melrose right wing on the 22. In come the hands from Gala, but still with Melrose. Back it comes to Ziverchek. It's a good carry by the tight head prop. Quick ball for Cool, who switches play again to Townsend. Thought about the pass, stabs in behind. This just about the bounce of the ball, and it comes up kindly into the hands of Gregor Collins, the left wing for Gala. So Gala now is trying to steady the ship 8 metres or so out from their try line, way over on the far side. So they'll just maybe 1 or 2 carries to find a better angle for Harris Rutherford. And Rutherford has taken his place just directly behind the breakdown here. The Melrose defence set up, and they're making a real nuisance of themselves at the breakdown. Have Melrose managed to turn that ball over? I think it's still with... Well, no, it is. I think it had to come back. It does, because it's in the hands of Jimmy Cool, but it's got there illegally, and the penalty goes to Gala.
Yeah, I think that's the classic coach killer there. You've got your opposition 6 metres from their own line. They're struggling to get the ball back, and one of the wonderfully...
Picking words carefully here.
Yeah, but watch out. One of the forwards has decided to put his hands in the ruck there. Just leave the ball alone, give them 20 metres, and now Harris Rutherford's got an opportunity which he's made a complete mess of, and unfortunately not made touch from a penalty.
So here come Melrose again. Struan Hutchison out to Matty Bertram. Again cuts back in field, so Gala, their own worst enemy there, they had their chance. Harris Rutherford just need to put the ball out in touch, and suddenly they find themselves back in defensive mode again, and the ball almost finding its way into the hands of Connor Spence, looking dangerous, but the ball was knocked on. The offload there by one of the front row for Melrose, so we will have ourselves a scrum centre field just outside the Gala 22. And before that, I think the officials want a quick word again.
Callum Pate's got a blood injury. I think he's just Stevie Turnbull's just signalled. Yeah, I think probably just as well that Melrose knocked on just now, because there was a very suspicious pass in midfield. I think possibly Darren Fish on the other side was signalling it, but Stephen didn't see it. But it's really frustrating. That a couple of really annoying pieces of play is that, as I say, you get a team 6 minutes, 6 metres from their own line. You just say, right, leave it, give them the ball. We'll get the ball back, probably the 22 metre line at the very worst. and then Melrose give away the penalty at the breakdown, and you think, Gala have got away with one there, and then they miss touch off the penalty, which, it's these are the little bits and pieces that frustrate the coaches, as I'm finding out quite considerably this year.
So it seems that Cammy Pate is okay. Just went to the sideline for a bit of treatment. It is heading back towards the wee huddle as both sides take on a bit of water. 25 minutes into this one at Netherdale. It's still Melrose leading by 7 points. That Alan Ferry try converted by Struan Hutchison. And Gala, will they look to clear downfield? Just Corey Goldsborough at the back for Melrose, or are they happy to run from their own 22? Harris Rutherford standing directly behind the scrum here. He's got options both ways. Just move slightly to the right, but they will go to the left, I think. Pressure again from the scrum. It's broken up, and they've been forced to pick up from the base through Fraser Wilson. And now to Kyle Scott, the tight head prop. Harris Rutherford again stationed directly behind the breakdown, way back in his 22. Instead, Eddie Eyre puts this one over the top. That doesn't go where it was intended, I don't think. And Goldsborough sighs his way through there, taken down by Pate. In there as well, Ben Gill. And it's still with Melrose and Jimmy Cool. Gala struggling to keep a hold of the ball. Ziverchek again with the carry. Townsend, flat pass to the forwards. The Gala defence up to the task for now, just strung across their own 10-metre line. The referee, I think, catching Gala for not rolling away though at the breakdown, and they'll have another penalty. Oh, well, no, it's a scrum in fact, as he decided that it was never going to be able to come out of there.
Good piece of refereeing there actually. Callum Pate made a really good tackle, and with absolutely no opportunity to roll away, the Melrose player came in and just pinned him in. So it's good that Stephen saw that. So yeah, good again. Again, that's the kick into the middle of the field, and a really good line there for Goldsborough. I mean, Townsend was looking. I think it was Townsend was looking at shape to go outside, and then he came in on an inside angle, and other than a really good tackle by Fraser Wilson, I think they were really going to struggle. He was through.
So another scrum. We're over on the far side of the pitch, about 15 metres in, and on the Gala 10-metre line. Gala scrum trying to apply pressure, but I think it's clear to see that Melrose have the upper hand at scrum time. It goes out to, that's Hamish Weir at first receiver there. Now they've created a bit of space, but that is a wild pass. I think the only thing that Corey Goldsborough has done wrong so far in the game is he tried to find Matty Bertram, sailed over the winger's head and straight into touch.
The idea was right, it's just the execution. He was under a lot of pressure there, and he just tried to get the ball away, and it just came out of his hands a bit quicker than expected. Otherwise Matty Bertram was going to make a good 20-30 yards there without being touched.
Yeah, and Bertram's looked dangerous with the little ball he's had. Good feet, he looks strong. It's a Gala line out again, just down in front of our commentary position. Gavin Eason, the Gala hooker, gets his instructions from Gavin Fisher at the front of the line out. 5 men in there for Gala. Bit of movement, they'll go to the back. It's a good throw off the top by Irvin down to Eddie Eyre. Rutherford just drops the ball off to one of the forwards, carrying hard into contact and back a bit deeper to Rutherford as Gala set up for the kick. And there's good distance on that. It's looking to make the hit through Gregor Collins. Melrose do well to deal with that through Hamish Weir, winger over on the far side for Melrose. The wingers have switched jerseys but not sides, and Melrose trying to get the hands free, finding Angus Runciman, but the ball had gone forward.
Yeah, good defence again by Gala. They put in a lot of really good tackles. I think it was John Turnbull who made the break in midfield there, the Gala inside centre. Really strong, low to the ground. Makes a lot of yardage from that position when he plays. So again, it's just getting that go forward ball.
So another scrum. Hope you're enjoying the scrums, Ian.
Fantastic, Bruce. Yeah.
As we said, Melrose have had the upper hand. They've not been able to cause too much damage yet. There was one moment was that Jimmy Cool caught Eddie Eyre, but I think that was Eyre just a bit too slow to get the ball away. Gala in the main have managed to clear the scrum as Melrose make the first change. I think that is Jack Dobie coming on in the front row, and that will be Will Ferry coming off. So, well, we've got a lot of changes that we can expect. Is it, 11 on the bench for Gala, 10 for Melrose. So it's half an hour into this one. Melrose 7, Gala 0.
That's certainly not going to weaken the Melrose scrum anyway.
You're right there. Dobie, very experienced, a strong scrummager on the loose head side. So, well, Gala holding firm there. That's actually Gala's best scrum of the match, as the skip pass out, disguised by Callum Pate, drops it off to Murray Wilson, the fullback. So Gala now, their first bit of possession for what seems like a while. Angus Dunn, the captain, the referee playing an advantage, so Gala can roll the dice here. Back it goes to Pate, chips that ball over the top straight into the hands of Corey Goldsborough, so we'll come back for the penalty.
Yeah, offside there, Melrose, in midfield, cutting down the space, so good to see that getting picked up, so we can get a bit of space. That's what we're looking for in the game. That and the tackler not rolling away are the two main killers, so it's good that he's picking that up. A couple of good passes there, but again, Gala just, at times they can seem to be doing the same thing quite a lot, and it can get read by the defence. So they need to throw a couple of different things in now and again. Whether it's a carry up or with a hit up, because they do tend to go out the back quite a lot, but gives Harris Rutherford an opportunity to kick for touch pretty much right in front of the posts, about 46 metres out. So he certainly should have the length. It's whether he can keep it accurate or not.
Yes, interesting decision from the penalty here. Gal opting to go 4 posts. I think you're about bang on with your 46 metres, Ian. It's right in front of where you are sitting. But if there was any doubt that this is a competitive fixture that sides want to win, we've just discovered that now, as Gala deciding that points are the most important thing here. They're trailing by 7 points to 0, 8 minutes or so to half time, and Rutherford catches that one well. It's certainly far enough, just fades past the right upright. So Gala unable to claim points there, and that's a good clearing kick by Melrose out into touch on this stand side of the pitch. So it remains Gala 0, Melrose 7.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of thinking he certainly had the length for that. Unfortunately, just spread it a little bit right as Gala make a substitution with number 18, who I think is Jordan Corey, coming on for Glenn McCrum.
Yes, Jordan Corey takes his place in the second row. Glenn McCrum, I think you're right, is the man to make way.
I would imagine that'll be Jordan Corey's debut as well.
So Jordan Corey in the second row now for Gala. Bit scrappy, but it does come back in the Gala side and quickly out. And it is that ball that you mentioned. They're very clear with their 2 lines of attack here, Gala. I think Melrose reading that one again, but not rolling away at the breakdown. Penalty Gala.
Yeah, good decision there. 13, Connor Spence just hasn't rolled away. The Melrose number 7, Wilkes, I think his name is, he got in really quickly on top of the ball, but the only reason that he was able to do that was because the 13 didn't roll, so it stops the clearing player coming out. So good to see that getting penalised. It's certainly been a bit of a bugbear of mine. Strange decision there, Gala. He's 10 yards closer to the post, and they're going for the line out instead. Yes,
I'm just trying to work that one out. It was further across to the far side of the pitch, so maybe the same sort of distance. But yes, and he clearly had the distance on his last kick, but this time deciding to stab that ball into touch inside the 22.
It's another change from Gala there as Eddie Heard, the scrum half, comes off. He's replaced by Richie Mitchell, who's been playing really well at scrum half for Gala this season.
So Richie Mitchell's first task here will be, I think, to clear this ball from the line out. Well, the Gala have set up with, what's that, 6+1. That's the captain Angus Dunn standing in there as the +1, which would suggest that they would like to drive this, taken cleanly at the back. Well, it fake maul as they play away. Dunn making the pass, and Gala make good ground from that. They're about 7 metres short now. Referee playing an advantage here for Gala, looking to get first points on the board. 5 minutes from half time. The referee again catching Melrose not rolling away at the breakdown, so another penalty to Gala. I think Rutherford will just put this into touch 5 metres out from the line. We'll have another crack at it through the line out.
Yes, it's becoming a really common move, that is it. They line up as if they're going to go with a drive with the back row forward at the scrum half position, but then they go in and pop it to the hooker who comes round on the peel, and then they're looking to get somebody hit from the backs, just hit up in that soft area between the back of the line out and the backs.
So Gala looking to go in perhaps at the break with 4.5 minutes left to play, all square, and they've got a great chance here. The line out 5 metres from the Melrose line, taken by Irvin, and they'll look to get this maul set and then apply the power. Now they're going towards that Melrose try line. This will be very difficult for Melrose to stop piling in at the side. The referee happy with it, so Gala will have to play away through Richie Mitchell. It's a bit of a mess over there at the far side, and just about every Gala player bar Ben Gill you could throw a blanket over. So Gill's not going to see the ball, I don't think, any time soon as the Gala forwards go to work. Still 5 metres out from the Melrose try line. And the troops massing here. The pick by Kyle Scott. Very close now, just a metre or so away. The referee's on the spot and awards the try to Gala. Powerful play by the Gala forwards, and it's Gala 5, Melrose 7.
Yeah, it's all that could happen, because obviously there was, as you said, Bruce, there was no backs out there, but there's a couple of really good nuggety guys in there. So Kyle Scott made a little break there, and the try was scored by Jed-Forest, the hooker. So both of these guys have the ability to just put that little bump in, stay on their feet and move that extra yard or two, and especially that close to the line, and then just a little nudge from behind as well. That makes a big difference. So that's interesting. We're sort of 36.5, probably about 35.5 gone with the injury. Harris kicks this, so you've got a 7-all, and probably getting back to the stage. It's about fair, because Melrose have had their chances, Gala have had their chances. Melrose have probably a little bit more ball and territory, but Gala have just struck really well there, and hopefully that can spur them on to maybe get nick another couple of points before half time.
Well, it's taken 36 minutes for Gala to get themselves on the scoreboard. It's a good conversion by Rutherford, who missed a penalty about 4 minutes ago, but makes no mistake with the conversion, and it's all square here at Netherdale, 7 apiece.
Yeah, just a little bit of pressure there from Gala. There was a couple of penalties against Melrose, so it always puts them on the back foot. They're thinking about not giving away another one, because there's every possibility they could get a yellow card. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back from this here now, and they'll be wanting to try and get something on the board before half time as well. So
the clock says 2.5 minutes left, but the ball knocked on. I think might have a little bit more, as you say, with the stoppages, but around about 5 minutes to half time, all square. Gala through Gavin Eason, converted by Rutherford, equalling things with Alan Ferry, scoring the opening try of the game after only 12 minutes. Struan Hutchison kicking the conversion for Melrose. It's certainly been very competitive, and as you say, Ian, 7-all seems about fair at this stage. Gala and Rutherford, well, he thought about the kick, but looks for space, now gets the hands free. That's a lovely play by Harris Rutherford, hint of a high tackle there, but play goes on, away goes Jamie Bell, looking now for support. It's a big tackle, Bell now, it's good work, did well on the floor, gets that ball presented nicely and allows Gala to play at pace now. That's the new man, Jordan Corrie, tackle just inside the Melrose 22, so can Gala strike twice in quick succession here? Crowd getting themselves right into this one. Stand filled, 100 or 200 people probably over on the far side of the pitch as well, enjoying this fixture. Gala through the forwards, and Fraser Wilson just losing 2 or 3 metres here, but still in possession, Gala. And then John Turnbull accelerates into contact, loses the ball though. Solid defence by Melrose.
Yeah, there's been 2 or 3 occasions there where there's been a Gala player who's just gone into 2 Melrose players and just got absolutely hammered, which puts him on the back foot straight away. Yeah, some really good play there. Fraser Wilson got his hands free, popped it in for the tackle. I think it was Callum Pate who handed it on to Jamie Bell, who managed to get about 50-60 metres down the field, and then he was isolated, but he kept himself sensible. He bunched into Goldsborough, the fullback, won the contact, set the ball back, and then just unfortunately Gala managed to knock on there, so turning the ball back over to Melrose with a scrum just outside their 22.
It's still Jimmy Cool. He's got a new man beside him, Richie Mitchell. It's confusing me wearing 9s. I think they've just swapped their jerseys, but it is a different man. Eddie Ayre starting at 9 for Gala, replaced by Richie Mitchell, and Gala coming away with this one. Out it goes to Ben Gill on the right wing. So Gala with perhaps the last chance of this first half, and there's the man, Jamie Bell, who set up the position with a wonderful run from his own half originally, the open side flanker, and then Kyle Scott hit hard in the tackle, but Gala once again on the attack and having the better of the closing stages of this first half. Rutherford to Turnbull, centres combining. It's a wild pass by Callum Pate, couldn't be taken by Gregor Collins. Ball knocked on by the Gala winger, and with that the referee Stephen Turnbull blows for half time at the end of a very entertaining first half of rugby. It's 7 at a piece, but that doesn't really tell the tale of the half. Ian, a try a piece. Alan Ferry converted by Struan Hutchison, and then Jack Eason with the reply 4 minutes before half time for Gala, converted by Rutherford. 7-all, and as you sort of alluded to in commentary, probably just about a fair reflection of the half.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's 7-all, doesn't sound particularly exciting, but I think it would have been 21-all, nobody would have argued about it as well. I think both teams have had their own little bits and pieces. Probably Gala, Melrose have had the sort of more structured play, whereas Gala have had those couple of little bits of brilliance or individual brilliance. Interesting that last scrum there just now. Melrose were complaining about the fact that they felt that they'd won the penalty, but it was again. I'm back to my refereeing head. Is that the Melrose number 8 had broken. He wasn't fully bound at the back, so the scrummage was over. So good refereeing by Stephen Turnbull. Is that why should they get the opportunity to win a penalty when they're not? They've got to scrum legally for that. So it's interesting that that was picked up. So yeah, good first half. I mean, it's really enjoyable. Some good open running rugby, some big hits. I think on reflection, 7-all is probably fair.
Well, let's take a breather, Ian. Half time then in this Waverley Cup BSPC Border League doubleheader at Netherdale, and it's all square at half time. It's Gala 7, Melrose 7.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
Borders water, Borders barley and Borders people. That's what makes the Borders Distillery. Working exclusively with local farmers, the Borders Distillery is bringing whiskey making back to the region. Our award-winning distillery is open to everyone, where you can meet the people behind the scenes, explore our wash house and shop quality local products. Tour your local distillery and discover the spirit of the Borders. Full details at thebordersdistillery.com. Always enjoy our spirit responsibly. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult when visiting the Borders Distillery.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
Yes, Rugby Radio on Boxing Day, coming to you live from Netherdale. Second half commentary coming up with the score at half time. Gala 7, Melrose 7, very evenly poised. Now, former Hoyk head coach Matty Douglas is back coaching again. He's been appointed defence coach at Edinburgh Rugby's women's team under head coach Claire Cruikshank. And we caught up with Matty earlier today and asked him, well, the obvious.
Yeah, look, I'm buzzing to be back involved on a coaching capacity. I think it's probably been a bit longer than I would expect it to be out the game, but I've enjoyed the last 5-6 months just more reflecting and looking at ways I can improve as a coach and do things better. And I think being able to get around Clubland on a Saturday has been very beneficial to be able to watch players in a South perspective that I would never be able to see before, and also be involved with Rugby Radio and Stuart and the team. It's been a great experience, and it's something that I'll continue to be involved in when I can. And I think probably the more games I was going to, the bigger the bug got to get back involved. And it was just trying to figure out what the next challenge is to fit around with work. And the opportunity came around to join Edinburgh Women as assistant coach. Looking at defence, and defence is something that I've got a real passion for. I love coaching it. At Hoyk it was something that I had a real pride in, and I think now was the right time to try and take that passion and try and coach it somewhere else. And it's been great to try and put a philosophy in place and work on with a system with the girls. And it showed last Friday night against Glasgow that they've got a real understanding, and we've got some really skillful players in there. So it's a great challenge for me. The women's game is something that I've never really been involved in, but I'm loving every minute it so far. Being based up at Murrayfield and training out at Hive Stadium, it's just a different experience. And the Celtic Challenge is a tournament that has even expanded since last season. the 6 teams being able to play now home and away is a great experience for the girls. It readies them for international rugby, and we've got a real quality squad this year. A lot of younger girls who are coming through, and that's what this competition's about. And I think it's a great way for them to show their skill set, in person or through the TV, and also put their hand up for national selection in the Six Nations. So yeah, it's a really exciting time to be involved, and I think the coaching team that's in place is, I've learned a lot already. Claire is a quality coach, one of the best women's coaches in Scotland, and I've got a lot of respect for her, and just keen to learn off her. And we've got Ross Bundy and Banashe Mazambe as well, so it's a really good coaching team, and just excited to now kick on. We have Britton Thunder a week on Saturday at the Hive, so the games come thick and fast. It's a pretty hectic programme, but I'm just buzzing to be back involved, and looking forward to what can come off the back of this.
Good to hear from Matty Douglas back in the rugby coaching game again at Edinburgh Rugby women's team, and of course got off to a very good start against Glasgow, winning by 63 points to 15 in the Celtic League. Well, the halftime score here in our feature commentary match today is the Waverley Cup, of course, and the Border League. Gala 7, Melrose 7. Our summariser today is, of course, Iain Heard. And Iain, your impressions of a first half, you mentioned there it could easily have been 21 all. Yeah, it could have been. I mean, both sides have had good chances, and as I say, equal at half time would be certainly reasonable. 7 all, 21 all. I think either would have been a reasonable score at half time. There's been some good rugby. I think probably Melrose have had the more of the possession, they've had the more structured part of the game so far, but Gala have probably had a couple of bits of more special play that have given them opportunities, so although the Gala try was quite a forward orientated try, but they've had a couple of breaks. They've had that one particular break by Jamie Bell, which came off a couple of really good offloads in contact, so it just shows it can be done. And the Melrose try was pretty much the same. Was Alan Ferry just got the offload and broke through a tackle, went underneath the post, so there is space there, and there's been 2 or 3 opportunities for both teams, so very enjoyable so far. Hopefully we get more of the same second half. Just it's great to see so many people on the bench getting the opportunity. I just worry that second half it might get a bit disjointed with bringing on so many players. Understand the reasons for doing it, but it's also it's a competitive game. There's a cup at the end of it. It's a Border League game, so it would be nice to see both teams pretty much keep to the structures as much as possible to keep the entertainment levels up. 21 on the bench in total today, so but I mean, from a personal point of view, your nephew Jamie Bell there, seeing him go there, but he wasn't far away from scoring. It's interesting. I was just speaking to friends of mine at half time who said they were screaming and shouting. I can imagine what my sister's like and my mum. It's a bit more difficult sitting here where you've just sort of got to throw the arms up rather than saying anything, so he's done quite well, as have all of the Gala players and for that matter the Melrose players. Couple I'm not aware of, I haven't seen before. Certainly I think impressment wise, Corey Goldsborough at 15 for Melrose has been really impressive, the way he's run the ball back. I think Gala have got to realise that they're going to have to stop kicking directly to him. They're going to have to try and find a bit of grass. Jimmy Cole, the Melrose 9, has been impressive as well. Gala wise, Callum Pate, you get what you get with Callum Pate. He never misses a tackle. John Turnbull's made a few good little bursts in midfield to get a bit of go forward ball, and again Angus Dunn is, just to say, he's an absolute workhorse and keeps on going, so it's been pretty even across the board, so hopefully much the same again second half. Yeah, because I mean Gala really came out the blocks flying, didn't they? I mean 10 minutes gone and they were having all the possession and the territory, but then Melrose came back and they had their 10 minutes effectively, and they probably I guess on when it came down to possession, I suppose Melrose just about edged it, I would think. Yeah, I think on possession and territory they've probably edged it, but they just haven't quite been able to get that last pass to hand, or they've knocked on in contact, or they've turned the ball over, which is tantamount to the Gala defence. And I say,
from a point of view of having seen them 2 or 3 weeks ago as Jed, the defence was outstanding, and that's what really won them the game that day, and it's been pretty much the same again today. So it'll be interesting to see how we go second half.
Okay, and the players are on the pitch for Melrose. You can hear the Gala boys are just about coming up, and we're having a look at the numbers. There's a number 20 on there as well. Havis Rutherford is still playing at the moment, number 10. So it'll be very interesting to see at what point, if at all, that they decide to bring on the substitutes. But at the moment it's pretty evenly poised. Gala 7, Melrose 7. Let's rejoin Ian and Bruce.
Thank you very much, Stuart. That might be how they refer to number 10, number 25, number 37 for the game. But we'll do our best to bring you correct names. It's not always that the numbers and the names match up.
I think the Gala change at half time is Sam Smith's come on at 7 in place of Jamie Bell. So
That
looks like
a famous singer, but it is Melrose. Well, they've just about won their own restart, but it was knocked on somewhere in there. I see Angus Weir was perhaps the man that challenged for that for Melrose, knocked on. So we'll start the second half with a Gala scrum.
Yeah, looks like a change in the Gala front row as well. I think it's Michael Angus is on for Kyle Scott by the looks of it. Don't think there's any changes in the Melrose team though.
On a quick reminder that wearing 9 for Gala, it was Eddie Eyre, it's now Richie Mitchell. I've quickly swapped jerseys at the side, I think. Mitchell coming on around about half an hour into the game. Harris Rutherford, as we mentioned, plying his trade over in America with San Diego, has slotted back into that Gala number 10 jersey with aplomb. He had a very impressive first half, and his first job in the second half will be to kick the ball. I think, was he going to go high here? It's a free kick, so he might opt to go to touch, but no, just taking a quick tap. He'll send this one as high as he can into the Netherdale skies. And, well, that wasn't claimed by anybody in yellow, but it does bounce up, fortunately, for Melrose. It's Melrose in possession from that high kick, from the free kick from Rutherford, and they've got space. The Gala defence all flooding across towards this side, and Melrose have spotted it, and they've raced away down that far touchline. It's a good break up over halfway by the Melrose front row, and then Ziverchek. There's both props involved there, Dobie and Ziverchek. Dobie on for Ferry in the first half, and Melrose quickly switched play across to Elliot Ruthven, the strong running number 8, charging into Gala defence, stopped eventually just short of the Gala 22. So Gala strung across their own 22 metre line. Out it goes to Townsend, and he just throws one of those flat passes once again out to his forwards in the midfield. The referee playing an advantage to Melrose so they can roll the dice here. Townsend wrapping round the corner. Up they go into the 22 through, I think that's Jack Wilkes. We've not seen too much of him with ball in hand, the number 7. So referee still playing an advantage. A gap round the side of the breakdown as away goes Jimmy Cool. The scrum half dragged down 10 metres short of the Gala try line. Side entry by Melrose, so we'll come back for the penalty.
Yeah, a couple of little good breaks there. Ruthven took the ball really quick at a pace there just now and burst through a couple of tackles, and then they had a really good opportunity with the ball going out from Townsend to Wilkes, who'd spotted the gap, and then Gala obviously coming in, well, I think possibly coming in from the side or not rolling away. Again, Jimmy Cole there, again, that's the second or third time today that he spotted that little gap around the breakdown. Gala just a little bit slow to get in the back or get their guard in there at the side of the ruck, and he's made a few good yards from that today. So Melrose line out, looking at the situation, got pretty much a full line out, so you're thinking this is going to be catch and drive, I would think.
You would think. Logan Kirk goes to the middle. Well, it was challenged by Gala but taken down cleanly by Melrose, and again they're well set. Driving towards the line here, Gala piling in, trying to stop this. The referee's on the spot. It goes down, I think, just short of the line, but it's still with Melrose. Options both ways, but the referee not happy with that, so we'll come back for another Melrose penalty, but the visitors going very close 3 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, it looks like there's a player lifting the leg there, looking by the signal by Stevie Turnbull. Probably Gala a little bit lucky to get away with that just now. Possibly did collapse it. Again, Stevie running around to see if the ball putting down, maybe lost a little bit of concentration there as to who was pulling it down.
So Melrose will have another crack at the line out from a similar position, 5 metres out. So Logan Kirk, well, I think we're waiting on a ball over at the far side, which eventually comes out. Well, whoever threw that, I'm glad they're not playing, because it's bounced, I think, twice off the floodlight. But it has eventually found its way into the hands of Logan Kirk, who was accurate with his last throw. The first couple of lineouts of the game going astray for Melrose. Commentator's curse, as does that one. So it's come back on the Gala side. Gala survive as Richie Mitchell uses the forwards, setting up a better angle for Rutherford again, stationed directly behind the ruck here. I wonder if Richie Mitchell will take on kicking duties himself. He does indeed, as the lights go off here at the back of the stand. I hope you've got all the players and their numbers memorised now, Ian, because we're certainly not going to see much of our team sheets now.
Yeah, just a slight overthrow there just now from Logan Kirk. Angus Runciman just got fingertips to it, so Michael Angus at the back of the line just about managed to get it going backwards towards his own line.
Well, that wasn't the straightest of throws to the front of the line out, but taken by Angus Weir, so Melrose back on the attack again. I think fair to say they're the better of the attacking exchange. That's a lovely ball back inside by Jimmy Cool to Matty Bertram. Strong running by the Melrose right wing and close to the breakdown. Then Jack Dobie striding his way into the 22. Melrose 15 metres or so short. Tried to find Ziverchek. Knocked on by the prop. Hacked off downfield. That's a foot race now. 2 Gala players, 3 for Melrose. And it's won by Gregor Colto. In fact, sorry, it was Hamish Weir back for Melrose. Good work by the left wing. And then Elliot Ruthven, who's carried hard at number 8, but he's taken down. And a good tackle by Sam Smith on for Gala in the pack. But there's space over on the far side, and Fraser Wilson will be feeling a bit alone out there, the Gala number 8. If the Melrose passing had been a bit slicker there, they had created an opportunity. The referee, I think, playing an advantage. Knock on. It's still with Melrose. I think still with an advantage. So Melrose just managing to get that Gala defence out of shape a little at times. There's Corey Goldsborough. He's done well to get the ball out to Elliot Ruthven again. The number 8 chopped down once again by Sam Smith. And perhaps you'll hear the cheer from the crowd over our microphones. Sam Smith on 2 occasions taking down Elliot Ruthven, and this side Gala win a penalty.
Yeah, great play by Sam Smith there. He made the tackle, chopped them down, straight back up on the feet, and then on ball. Just a little bit strange there. I mean, Struan Hutchison got the ball in open space. First viewing was there, a player outside him, so he really should have gone for the gap and then maybe drawn past the last Gala player, even though it was 70 metres away. But I think he realised it was a front row forward that was outside him. I still think if he'd gone himself rather than cutting back, it would have been, he'd have got more yardage even if he'd had to chip through. But he obviously saw something from the angle that he was at that we didn't.
So Melrose failed to score from 2 lineouts and a diagonally opposite corner from where we are now, just off to our left on the stand side of the pitch. So Gala, can they be more clinical? And it's with Jack Eason, the try scorer for Gala, about 6 metres out. He's got plenty of options in that line out. Goes long, taken down well, handed back to Sam Smith. And again, the crowd noise just lifts a decibel or 2, but that's defended well by Melrose. Goes to deck. The referee again having a close look here, and well, an almost identical position from a similar one in the first half when I think it was Gala won the turnover. This time Melrose won the turnover.
Yeah, again, it's one of these situations is they go with a planned move, which is obviously to the back, and then bring Sam Smith in as the +1 to drive on it. But the unfortunate thing was Melrose had pretty much most of their pack at the back there, which made a big difference in terms of stopping Gala's drive. One of these situations there where either a switch back to the front again or peel off at the back, it would have worked. But again, it's the move that's planned. So a couple of changes from Gala there. Looks like Harris Rutherford coming off, which means that Richie Mitchell looks like he's gone on the wing. Russell Kerr probably come on. Murray Wilson looks like he's gone to 10 at the moment.
Well, we'll try and
Lachlan Johnson's come on, that much I can't see. He's gone to scrum half. Mitchell's gone on the wing, and Kerr's gone to fullback, I think.
Follow that if you can. Pick up at the base by Ruthven for Melrose, about 8 metres or so in from the stand side touchline, and about 8 metres out from their try line, just trying to set up a better angle. I'll say for the kick, there's nobody at home to kick this other than scrum half Jimmy Cool. It will be cool. Send this one over the top. Only 2 at the back. And well, who is that now in the number 10 jersey for
Russell
Gala?
Kerr.
That is Russell Kerr. On for Rutherford. Another one where Gala don't have quite enough jerseys for all the players they've got on the pitch today, so they've swapped jerseys at the side. And then Sam Smith, who's shown up well since he has come on. 2 big tackles on Ruthven, this time with the carry. And then Kerr, the flat pass out to Fraser Wilson, the Gala number 8. It's Gala now on the attack just outside the 22. Jordan Curry with the carry now. They'll go a bit wider. Kerr looks for space over on the far side and read well by Corey Goldsborough. I can't quite get there. Will that bounce up into the hands of Ben Gill? No, but it goes into touch. And it'll be Gala throw-in about 10 metres from the Melrose try line. Yeah,
really good kick there. Just stretched Corey Goldsborough, couldn't quite get his hand to it, and Ben Gill was right on top of him, so he didn't have a lot of choice. I think at this stage maybe give Stevie Headsmith, the Gala kit man, a bit of credit, as I think it's 2 sets of jerseys, so I think there's 2 number 9s and 2 number 10s, so Heppy wouldn't let his players down, I'm pretty sure.
With Heppy, if they didn't have Heppy here, it would be they'd be lost. He does a wonderful job for Gala. Standing just down in the, gets a bit excited as well, but he's looking very calm down in front of us for now. It'll maybe not be quite so calm if Gala can score from here. It's still tied 7 apiece, 10 minutes into the second half. That taken well from the line out by Gala though. Just looking to set them all up. They have to break away. Still with Gala, plan B as that ball goes to deck. Forwards come round the corner. Just keep things tight. 6 metres away now. Lachlan Johnston in there, lifts the ball up to Angus Dunn, the captain, fights his way forward another metre or 2. Pick and goes at Jamie Bell in there. No, it's the forwards keeping it tight here, just trying to crawl their way forward, just not even a metre away with the Gala forwards. Good defence by Melrose. Blast in the whistle by Stephen Turnbull. Will come back, I think, for a penalty to Gala, but the home side going very, very close to taking the lead there.
Yeah, tackler not rolling, I think, is the decision. Again, this is what Gala seem to do quite well. They've got these 3 front row guys, they do this really well. Jack Eason, Kyle Scott, although he's off, Michael Angus, Jack Fisher. They seem to have this ability to get really low, bump a player off and stay on their feet and then keep on going. And they get that yard, which then means that the next yard and the next yard is easier for their players, and it's more difficult for the Melrose defence. So another Gala line out here. It'd be interesting to see if they try and go catch and drive again, or whether they try and mix it up a little bit. Maybe Sam Smith will peel off the back and throw it out to John Turnbull at 12 if he's still on.
Well, they go along to I think that is Robbie Irvin is still on there, and the 4 jersey takes the ball cleanly. Well, Gala very well set here, driving, powering forward over the try line. Referees on the spot, awards a try. Gala take the lead. Try scorer is Jack Eason, his 2nd try.
Yep, looks like it. Again, they just got the drive on there. They got a soft spot in the Melrose back, the back of the line out there, and that's the big difference. The one that was across on the stand side a couple of minutes ago, they hit a strong part of the Melrose line out, and that's got the weak part there. So it makes it so much easier. And then when they've got that little bit of power through Eason and Fisher and the rest of the pack behind them, and thoroughly deserved score there. Looks like another change there. We've got Richie Todd's on now for Jordan Corey, I think.
Well, Jordan Corey hasn't been on the field very long, but I think you're right. Richie Todd on the field of play. We'll just confirm all that in a second. Let's focus on the conversion attempt for now. It was struck nicely by Russell Kerr, raises the flags, and it's Gala 14, Melrose 7 with 13 minutes played of the second half here at Netherdale.
Yeah, and I think a deserved score there. And just for everybody listening and watching in on YouTube, Melrose has made 10 substitutions, so I'm afraid that our chances of keeping up with those individually are somewhere between slim and absolutely none. So, and some have got no numbers on them as well. So the next 27 minutes could be entertaining as far as trying to identify who is who's, Bruce, I think.
I think that's Declan Mackay on down in front of us, wearing number 25, as you say, a blank jersey for Melrose. We'll do our best, but it doesn't detract from the entertainment here at Netherdale. And it's Melrose with the restart. It was chased by Angus Runciman, couldn't get hands to it, and it's Gala leading by 7 points, having trailed by 7 points to nil after 12 minutes in this game, with the upper hand. Lachlan Johnston sends that ball over the top, again just a bit too far, 4 at the back for Melrose, and they just send that ball back, finding space. That's 50-22 on the cards, rolls end over end into touch. That's a brilliant kick for Melrose as they look to bounce back from the line out.
Yeah, really good play there. I think that's something that we talked about in the first half about Gala not doing, was that they were finding players. Again, Gala for some reason just had the 2 players in the backfield. Melrose have a tend to have 3 or 4 on kick chase. So Gala put up the box kick. It was well looked after by Melrose, and then they've knocked it straight back, giving them a really good advantage here inside the 22 with their own throw in.
And Will Ewen, I think, the man to throw. Hesitated there. There's a lot of movement in the line out. Referee happy with that. Angus Runciman, the captain, takes it, and Melrose again piling into this maul, marching towards the Gala try line. Referee playing an advantage. Gala eventually managed to repel the maul. Gala have got it, Melrose, sorry, have got it moving again, crabbing across towards the touchline. They do well, in fact, to change direction, bring it back into the field of play. Eagle-eyed referee on the spot, and up goes the arm. Melrose do manage to strike from the line out, and I think it is, we'll just see who's come on there. It's Andrew Kirk, one of the many replacements for Melrose, I think, who have gone over. It all came from the line out, Ian.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just they hit that soft spot, got a good drive on. Gala were flying in from the side, left, right and centre. There was penalty advantage, and Melrose just kept a hold of it. They worked it to the sideline, got to ground, which was really good, because Gala had managed to get them just about into touch, and then worked the ball back in a couple of plays, and then they score with just a powerful drive there from I think one of the replacement back row players.
Yes, we're still trying to see who has scored. That doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is that is it Jack Dobie? Perhaps we'll get that for you just a second. It doesn't really change the fact that Melrose, powerful drive from the line out. Up go the flags. It's all square again here. 14 points apiece. 16 minutes played in the second half. Melrose looking very well organised at the maul.
Yeah, I think it was Will Ferry. Finally managed to get him to turn him away from us. I think Will Ferry, it looks like he's possibly come back on, having played a little bit of time in the front row in the first half. He's come back on. Looks like he's possibly come back on it in the back row.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But when were you ever wrong, Ian? Referee, of course. Thumped off downfield by Melrose. Bounces over the heads of the Gala players. Fraser Wilson. And sent back down towards Melrose, taken by Hutchison on his 10 metre line. See space in behind. That's a well weighted kick by the inside centre. Can't be taken cleanly by Ben Gill. Still hacked on by Hutchison. On the spot is Evan Davis, the man without a number, but did well to get there, win the ball for Melrose as they look to score 2 quick fire tries. Levelled things here at Netherdale. Now on the attack once again. 4 or 5 metres short, quick ball. Out it comes. It's a looping pass, but taken well as the Melrose forwards keep things tight for now. Options both ways here for Melrose. Play centre field right in front of the posts. Pick and go, keeping things close to the fringes. Gala just being sucked in closer and closer. Referee playing an advantage. Pick and go again. Melrose stopped just inches short of the try line. Piling in to try and win possession. Well, Melrose players fighting their way through. Gala slipping off tackles, and Melrose do go in. That's 2 tries in the space of 2 minutes, and I think that might be the other Ferry. Could be Alan Ferry.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately this time at Gala were absolutely the architects of their own downfall there. There was a fairly aimless kick from Struan Hutchison that Fraser Wilson let go, and then they were slow to react to that, and then went back. Hutchison got the ball again, made a little chip over the top. Ben Gill just didn't quite get the bounce of the ball, went through his legs. There was a hack ahead, and then I think Melrose were quite unlucky not to score to begin with, because they had 3 or 4 players to the one Gala player, but they didn't panic when the ball didn't bounce for them. They recycled the ball, came back, and then 2 or 3 drives in amongst the posts, and it looks like it was Will Ferry that went over for his first try of the game, and that's Melrose's third try to take them out to 19-14 with a fairly simple conversion for Hutchison. So you'd expect 21-14 so halfway through the second half.
Yes, was never in doubt, that conversion attempt. Hutchison puts that one through between the uprights, extend the Melrose lead out to 21 points to 14, and Gala, well, they'll be a bit annoyed at themselves there 12 minutes into the half of that Jack Eason try, taking control of the game, but Melrose scoring twice in the space of 2 or 3 minutes and now back in control. From the restart, looks like a high tackle, I think, by one of the Gala players on Kieran Clark. The referee playing an advantage, almost working from the kick. I think knocked on by Melrose, so come back from the penalty. Gala just a bit over-eager with the chase.
Yeah, it's always really difficult in that position there. The ball's coming down between players, and you're quite often your tackler's not got a sight of it, so it's very difficult for them. But they've got to just keep the ball, keep it down. So penalty to Melrose. Struan Hutchison just outside the 22. He kicks the touch. Ball goes out just over the halfway line, which gives Melrose a reasonably good attacking opportunity just over the halfway line, heading towards the Ferrydean end here at Netherdale.
Well, quite miraculously, Ian, we've managed to get the try scorers right. So for Melrose, Alan Ferry, Will Ferry, then Alan Ferry again.
And I'll apologise to Alan Ferry, that's his second try of the game. It was him that burst through in the first half and scored underneath the post. So that's 2 tries for Alan Ferry, or Will Ferry.
In reply for Gala, Jack Eason with a brace, but it's Melrose in the attack again. Stuart Hutchison couldn't take that ball, bounced unkindly at his feet from, was that Scott Clark, I think, on it, scrum half for Melrose, replacing Jimmy Cool. Still with Melrose, wasn't knocked on by Hutchison. Shaping to, well, I thought they were going to kick there through Scott Clark, but keeping things in hand for now. Clark coming to dig for this one. Out again to Hutchison, playing now first receiver, and slick hands by Melrose, but shut down by the Gala defence. So play over on the far side, has been turned over.
Gala, yeah.
Lovely, quickly transition into an attacking shape. Look well set up here, and the referee playing advantage, decided to kick that ball over the top. Lachlan Johnson rolls it into touch inside the 22, but the referee decides that's not enough of an advantage, because of course that would be a Melrose throw into the line out, so we'll come back for the penalty.
Yeah, it's one of these stand-up tackles there. So I think it was Will Owen who just did not in any way, shape or form try to get down in any position to tackle, and I think it was Jack Fisher, Gavin Fisher, the Gala prop, just ran straight at him, and he just didn't move at all and caught him high. Again, not a particularly dangerous tackle, but it's now deemed to be a high tackle. So easy penalty for Gala there, takes them into 22, gives them a good attacking opportunity to get those 7 points back.
Line out 20 metres from the Melrose try line. Jack Eason, I think, still on the field of play, wearing number 2, so he'll throw in here. Gala just taking their time, get their call right. Instructions coming from Gavin Fisher to Eason. Got 5 men in there. Sam Smith again standing as the +1. Will they opt to drive? Will they opt to play away? Well, the go-to man at the line out, certainly Robbie Irvin. Still with Gala, is that Sam Smith? Either way, it's with the home side looking to strike back. Shell shocked from those 2 Melrose tries. Can they level affairs here as we're into the final quarter of this Waverley Cup BSBC Border League doubleheader? Referee playing an advantage, still with Gala. Robbie Irvin thought about the pass to Richie Todd, carries instead himself. Johnston out to Murray Wilson, space out in the left touchline, and it's Richie Mitchell. Came on at 9 but has been shifted to the left wing. Johnston taking his place at scrum half. Richie Todd absolutely clattered by Alan Ferry. Ball goes loose, comes back. And the referee, I think, adjudging that to be a knock on, or at least no advantage for Gala, so we'll go back to the penalty on the far side. Yeah,
a little bit of experience there from Melrose captain Angus Ransom, and he made the tackle on Jack Eason and just basically lay on the top of him, made no attempt to roll away in the hope that he would get away with one, just to slow the ball down. Unfortunately Stevie Turnbull picked him up on that, but yeah, just a little bit of sensible play. Gala had got a bit of go forward ball, and Runciman, whether it was intentional or not, probably have my guesses on it. Cleverly just lay there and try to make sure that the ball wasn't come back quickly.
So another opportunity for Gala. Almost identical position to the line out. Perhaps just a metre or two closer to the try line. 6 metres or so away. Far side of the pitch down to scoreboard corner here at Netherdale. And again it will be Jed-Forest to throw into this line out. 6 men in there. Once again Sam Smith standing as the +1. And it goes. So Gala will look to drive this one. It's in the hands of Smith. Fed back to Eason. Gala have to break away. The Melrose defence at these line-out mauls has been pretty good, it has to be said. The ball goes to deck. It's going to come back though, so play will go on. Gala will just have to play away, keep things tight again through the forwards. Melrose defence well organised, strung across their own 5 metre line. That's a good strong carry as the forwards come round the corner, led by Richie Todd. In the Melrose defence coming forward though aggressively, scything down Todd. And now it's the number 8 Fraser Wilson. Aggressive once more by Melrose. Gala struggling to make any headway into the teeth of this defence. Slow ball here for Lachlan Johnston, having to dig into the breakdown for it. Out it goes, and it's quick hands by Russell Kerr to shift that one on very quickly under pressure. Gala will lose another metre or two. That's a powerful carry. Now they just look to go round the side, attack round the fringes. Melrose defence very well organised, slipping off a tackle there though. So Gala now with Angus Dunn angling out. That's a strong carry by the captain. In goes Sam Smith to secure possession. Lachlan Johnston, again it's a bit slow, out to Russell Kerr. Once more just shifts the ball on to Murray Wilson. Cuts back infield looking for space, but there's no space to be found in that Melrose defence for now. Very well organised. Now it's Callum Pate gets the hand free out the tackle, tried to find his winger. The referee, well, he allowed play to go on, had a quick word with his assistant referee as Gala raced through a gap, but I think the ball knocked on and will come back for a scrum.
Yeah, definitely knock on there. Again, it was good play there by Pate to get the ball away. Wasn't the greatest of passes because he was under pressure, and Richie Mitchell just wasn't able to hang on to that just now. It's that unfortunate situation where the ball's dropping. You might be better just letting it drop, picking it up and just keeping hold of possession, but you always want to try and get hold of it and carry on. That's Jed-Forest come on after an absolutely superb shift, both in attack and defence. 2 tries, but that's only a very small percentage of what he's done today in terms of getting himself about the park. So I'd imagine Richie Todd will go to hooker. Looks like Craig Keddy I think's come on, the club vice captain.
Yes, Richie Todd was down just getting a bit of treatment, but it looks like Todd wearing 17 in the middle of the front row. Gavin Fisher still on wearing 1, and Jordan Curry, I think he came back off again. It's Michael Angus there with wearing 16 on the tight head side of the scrum, and Craig Keddy, as you say, the club vice captain. He spent many years at Boroughmuir playing Super Series rugby, vastly experienced, played his club rugby here before moving up to Boroughmuir, and a very good man to be able to bring on with 13 or so minutes left to play.
Yeah, I think Gala have really got to take an opportunity here. The scrum's against them, it's not their scrum, so just try and make sure you hold into this. Don't give Melrose an easy penalty, make them either play away or just kick down and then just retain possession or get possession back after that. This is the one where you don't be silly, don't give anything silly away, and then get the opportunity to potentially get some ball off the back of Melrose exiting from this particular situation. Yeah, unfortunately it's again, I think this is the big issue for looking at the scores today. Melrose are bringing on 2 probably first 15 props. Gala's, their strength and depth in the front row is nowhere near as good as Melrose is, and unfortunately they've given that penalty away, which then means it gives Struan Hutchison an easy kick to touch and a line out which they can now play off.
So put into touch on this stand side of the pitch, 25 metres out from the Melrose try line. It's Will Ewen wearing 18 who'll throw in here. Gala will simply look to pressurise this one, keep Melrose penned down close to their 22 still trailing by 14 points to 21. We approach the final 10 minutes here at Netherdale. The referee not happy with the line there, just making sure that the metre gap was in place. Just pushing Gala back a bit, taken cleanly by Melrose from the throw. Driving forward, it's in the hands of Ewen, the replacement hooker. Eventually playing away out to Angus Common, former Kelso player. It's a good quick ball, but Gala defence well organised over there, but slipping off tackles. Corey Goldsborough, who had an electric first half. We're not seeing quite so much of him in this second half, but managing to find a way through. And then the ball kicked off downfield. And you hear from the cheers of the crowd, far too much on that one, so we'll come back all the way to what's the Melrose 10 metre line for the throw just down in front of us. So mistake, hands the ball back to Gala. Still a good attacking position, 40 out from the Melrose try line. Yeah,
unusual unforced there from Struan Hutchison. You know, Melrose had the momentum off the back of that driving line out, had a couple of phases of play, and then it was, you know, just knock it down there, put Gala under pressure. Now come back to a situation where Gala have got a line out on the Melrose 10 metre line with opportunity to attack.
So Richie Todd, replacement hooker, have to be accurate here. I think Melrose will look to challenge this. Bit of movement, but they'll go to the back. That's a good throw, but up go Melrose. Won that, it's come back into the hands of Todd and then tidied up by Craig Keddy. Flirting with the touchline there, but stays in the field of play. That's good quick hands there by Robbie Irvin. The second row, Lachlan Johnson thinks he spots a gap round the side of the breakdown. Cries from the crowd of high tackle. Referee says play on. And in comes Richie Mitchell. Has to play scrum half with Lachlan Johnson caught in there. It's another big tackle by Melrose. In come the hands, trying to turn that over. The referee says it's illegal though. So Gala with a chance to play away. It's all just a bit untidy here for Gala, looking a bit out of shape and attack Gavin Fisher. They might prefer to get the penalty. Yeah, the referee not happy with that, so we'll come back for the penalty. High tackle.
Yeah, I think it's hands in more than anything else. I think Alan Ferry's a little bit lucky there. He's just come in with a shoulder, made no attempt to tackle. I think he's injured, which doesn't help. But you know, I'm sure who the Gala player was just now was tackled round the legs, and he came in and just put the shoulder on him. So he's a little bit lucky that was missed by the officials. So Gala still get the penalty, gives them an opportunity to kick to the corner. About 8 minutes to go, probably about 9 to 10 minutes to go with a bit of injury time. So this is Gala's real opportunity now. I think they've got to take it just now, because Melrose will get another period of play, I'm sure, due before the end of the game. I think this is the time for Gala to score.
Well, the ball thrown to Russell Kerr, replacement fly half for Harris Rutherford. He stabs that ball into touch, 15 metres or so out. And Gala will have to be tidier than my team sheets here, which are a bit of a mess with all these changes, but we just about know who's who. Richie Todd will throw into the line out here. It was pinched his last throw. He went too far. Look to keep things here simple. Keep things simple here, and they do indeed. Craig Keddy, good line out option in the middle, takes it down. Tried to feed the ball back. It looked like Keddy had got a bit twisted there. Good defence again at the maul by Melrose, breaking that one up, but Gala do well to keep a hold of possession, take it to Dex. They'll have to play away. Johnston out to Murray Wilson, the fullback, in at first receiver. That's a good carry by Wilson, and again the referee playing an advantage here. So Gala, Craig Keddy rolling through contact, 6 metres short, accelerating into defence there. Angus Dunn, the captain. It's a great opportunity for Gala, trailing by 7 points, 14 points to 21. 7 left to play, ball goes loose. It's still with Gala. No, the referee will come back. He's going into his pocket here, produces a yellow card.
Yeah, there's been 2 or 3 of these stand-up tackles again by Melrose. It's tiring. Guys get tired at the end of the game. Yeah, I mean, certainly the first run there by Fraser Wilson. The Melrose player made no attempt to dip into the tackle at all. They just stood upright Ferry, I think it is, and the second one as well when Angus Dunn went in. First half both teams were really good at going in and tackling low. I think guys just get tired. I've noticed that quite a bit this season. Guys get tired and then they just stand up and go back to old habits, and easy penalties to give for the referee, but they're just horrible penalties if you're the coach in the attacking team.
Well, after some deliberation, Gala have opted for a scrum, so it's right out in front of the posts, about 6-7 metres or so out from the Melrose try line. The clock just ticking down. Says about 5.5 minutes left. There'll be a bit of injury time, stoppage time to play at the end, but just about last chance here for Gala. Certainly if they want to win the game, they've got to get 2 scores. Score needed here to level affairs, with Melrose leading by 21 points to 14.
It's interesting they've brought Angus Dunn off, put young Jacob Moore on as well, so another one on debut. Interesting decision.
Yeah, so Jacob Moore now into the back row of the scrum. Away they go through Russell Kerr, trying to find a space, but he's driven back. Gala losing a bit of ground here, but crucially for them, still in possession. Richie Mitchell has to go in again, and he is wearing number 9, but playing scrum half. He and Lachlan Johnston fighting over who will go in and clear the ruck there. Johnston back in place at scrum half. Third scrum half of the day for Gala. Ball out the back by Murray Wilson. Gala just trying to find spaces in this very well organised Melrose defence. Inside ball looked suspiciously forward, but the referee on the spot says that's okay. Still with Gala inside the 22. Play over on the far side of the pitch, about 10 metres in from Gala's right touchline. Again keeping things tight through Sam Smith, hurtling into contact. Lachlan Johnston has found space down that right touchline into the hands of Ben Gill. The wingers stopped 7 or 8 metres away. Forwards in maroon go to work again out to the number 8, Fraser Wilson. Still in the field of play alongside Craig Carey. Wilson has shifted onto the flank. Gala keeping things tight for now. Melrose defence not getting too narrow. It's a nice line by Murray Wilson. The fullback tries to spin his way into contact. Ball still there for Gala. 2 metres or so short now. Melrose closing the door. But under the cosh here, can Gala level affairs as the clock ticks down? This time it's Jacob Moore with the carry. He's over the try line. Referee on the spot, having a close look at that. Just inches short. The Gala, will they pick and go? There's numbers out to the left if they're brave enough to send the ball out there. The referee blows the whistle. So no score for Gala, but they will have another opportunity from the scrum. Tense in the closing stages here, Ian.
Yeah, so Jacob Moore's got a couple of really good carries there as Kyle Scott comes back on to anchor the Gala scrum at tight head. Yeah, a couple of good carries there. Really close. Again, it's that difficult decision for the person, the ball carrier. Do you go for the line, or do you set up and then get quick ball and go again? And I think sometimes if you go for the line, you can just get held up, and it slows things down because you're not in control of the contact. I'm interested to see what they do at the back of the scrum. Russell Kerr in there, Murray Wilson at the back, right in behind him as well.
Well, if anything, Melrose are a little bit short of numbers over on this side. If Gala, they've got 2 men stationed 10 and 15 directly behind the scrum, could flood either way. That's a good Gala scrum. It's broken up a bit. Referee playing advantage. Yes, deliberately wheeled by Melrose. I assume Gala will just call for another scrum.
Gala have confused things now. We're putting 2 15s on. Cameron Bryden's on on the far side. I'm looking at the 15 behind, and Gala take it quick on the tap penalty.
Yes, we'll come back to the 2 number 15s in a second. Lachlan Johnston, well, he steps back and just allows his forwards to go to work. Gavin Fisher driven back by Melrose defence. If Gala are going to get back into this one, they really have to strike now. Craig Carey makes another metre or 2 for Gala. They're very close here. The referee having a look. Slow ball, look to just pick and go again as in comes Kyle Scott, just back in the field of play, just to drive his teammate over the line. See the ball on the ground there. Now they pull the trigger, out it goes, bounces up for Ben Gill. He gets the hands free, tries to shovel the ball out to Richie Mitchell. Ball goes into touch, chance goes a begging for Gala.
Yeah, it's a difficult one there because they were actually doing reasonably well in the forwards, and I think that's probably where they were more likely to score. You always fancy the Melrose defence, and the ball was never coming out quick enough to give them a real good opportunity, and every pass was slightly behind as well. So yeah, that was probably Gala's really good chance to score. Still probably got 2 or 3 minutes as Jamie Crooks comes onto the pitch to replace Callum Pate.
Confusingly enough, wearing the same number 13. But as you say, 2 number 15s. I think I said in commentary, Murray Wilson taking the ball into contact, and then there's another 15 standing beside him. It can't be Murray Wilson, but you're right. There are 2 number 15s on the pitch. Heppy needs to up his game a little bit with the jersey numbers. But yes, that is
Cameron Bryden.
Jamie Crooks on outside centre.
And Cameron Bryden on at fullback. So Murray Wilson looks like he's gone into centre as well. So I'm guessing Jamie Crooks is at 12, Murray Wilson at 13.
Either way, it is a Melrose line out 10 metres from their try line. So Gala losing their opportunity. They'll be desperate to try and win possession back. The clock just about ticking over the 40-minute mark here. We're not sure just how long is left to play, how much stoppage time there is. Gala trying to challenge that through Craig Carey, but Melrose secure at the front. They'll just look to calm things down, go through phases, eat up the clock. As Goldsborough goes into contact, that's Sam Smith in there trying to turn that into a maul. He's really been impressive, Sam Smith, since coming on for Gala. For me, that is a maul, and the referee agrees, and Gala do get their chance.
Great work by Sam Smith there, and then obviously I think it was Fraser Wilson as well who identified that he was being held up and went in and just helped his mate out there. Yeah, Sam Smith's been impressive this season. I know when he played against Jed, he was absolutely superb. He's been sort of bubbling around seconds, and he just seems to have kicked on a little bit this year. He's just all action, and he's got a bit of power, and when you put him alongside Craig Geddy and Angus Dunn, it becomes a very, very useful back row for Gala.
So scrum is about 25 metres in from the left, the stand side touchline here at Netherdale. Last chance saloon, you feel, for Gala. 14 points to 21, they trail. The clock over in the far corner says 41 minutes played. Lachlan Johnston throws the ball to Craig Carey, thinking that Gala were about to be awarded a free kick or a penalty. The referee says no, we'll reset this. So Lachlan Johnston to feed the scrum. He's got Richie Mitchell as his only option on the left side in about 20 metres or so of space. An option of picking up through Craig Carey, and the other Gala backs strung across to the far side just outside the Melrose 22. To win the ball from the scrum first of all, brought Kyle Scott back on just to anchor a scrum on the tight head side. Richie Todd at hooker, and it comes from Johnston. It's a good solid scrum. Craig Carey might be forced to pick up. That's great play by the number 8, and away goes Johnson, finds Mitchell heading for the corner, cuts back infield, taken down the left wing, 5 metres or so short. Can Gala capitalise on this? Craig Carey in there acting as first receiver. So Gala then, 42 minutes on the clock, 7 points the difference between the two teams. How they would dearly love a score under the posts here. And the Gala forwards again keeping things tight. Out to Richie Todd, hit hard on the tackle. But still with Gala, 4 metres or so away from that try line. Craig Carey again reversing into contact. It's been picked up by Melrose, thumped into touch. Referee blows for full time. The Melrose defence holding firm, and Melrose it is who win for the 9th time in the Waverley Cup. Clinging on at the end, Gala hammering away at the door, but the Melrose defence, which has been impressive for the whole game, coming up trumps at the end. It finishes Gala 14, Melrose 21.
Yeah, just some really good defence here by Melrose. Lachlan Johnson, I thought, had a really good opportunity there. You know, what he did really well is he identified the opportunity there to go blind. Maybe possibly passed a little bit early, gave the defender the opportunity to get across to Richie Mitchell, but that's probably been hypercritical or something there, that he did a really good job to get there in the first place. You know, again, if you get a powerful winger up there, you know, maybe Ben Gill or something like that, he could run through him, but Richie Mitchell's more of a speed guy and going on the outside. So yeah, really good game of rugby. I think possibly a 21-all draw might have been a reasonably good result or a fair result, but Melrose probably just on the basis of that defence there at the end, on the goal line, both in front of the post when Gala had the opportunity and then knocked on, and then there where they just turned the ball over just in contact. Probably just deserved it on the balance of play for that. But fairly evenly matched teams. I think we talked at half time about the potential for things to become a little bit disjointed with numerous changes coming in, but to be honest, I think most of the guys came in. Certainly, there's a few of the Melrose players, probably good get a bit of squad rotation. I think positive from the Gala side of things is that they've been able to blood a few young players. Bell, Moore, Corrie, these young lads that are probably their first taste at this level against a very good Melrose side, and that's good and positive for them. It shows they can compete at this level, and it gives them a little bit of confidence to go forward for the future to manage to hopefully stay up in National 1 for Gala and Premiership for Melrose over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think the only place it got disjointed was in commentary, when certainly I had very little clue who was who in the closing stages of that one. But as you say, the players managed the changes really impressively, because you do often see that little dip when you get changes in games, and it wasn't just, it was one change. The player come off and find himself back on 10 or 15 minutes later, and yeah, it was a very entertaining game, you've got to say. Gala had opportunities right at the start, Melrose holding firm, and eventually it was Melrose who opened the scoring 12 minutes into the game through Alan Ferry. The conversion kick by Struan Hutchison, and then just in the closing stages of that first half, Gala striking back through Jack Eason, conversion by Harris Rutherford, levelling things 7 apiece at half time, and then Jack Eason with his second 12 minutes into the second half, converted by Russell Kerr. At that stage Gala led by 14 points to 7, and were looking, I don't think either side was ever really in control of the game, but looking like that they could kick on from there. But 2 quick-fire tries for Melrose in the space of about 2 minutes. Will Ferry and then Alan Ferry with his second, both converted by Hutchison, taking the score out to 21 points to 14, and ultimately that's how the game ended. Gala with opportunities at the end, as you say, they maybe would have been better to keep things tight. It looked if they were going to score, it was going to be through the forwards rather than coming out to the wing, and then from that scrum at the end, well defended by Melrose. As you said, if you were being hypercritical, they maybe didn't play it perfectly, but the Melrose defence, when called upon, I think did have the upper hand.
Yeah, I would agree. I think across the piece, probably the 2 tries in quick succession from Melrose was the big changing point in the game, because up until then one team scored, then the other team scored, and although Galas scored two in a row, one was on one side of half time, one was on the other, so that made a big difference. Again, it's I think in the game itself, both teams were fairly evenly matched. It came down to probably a couple of good pieces of play by one team and a couple of not so good pieces of play or bounces of the ball. And in a game at this level, and as tight as it is between 2 local rivals, it can just come down to that. And certainly the third Melrose try probably came off a couple of bad bounces for Gala, with, I wouldn't call it aimless kicking, but it certainly wasn't good quality kicking, but it just happened to be, it hit grass, and as we talk about down at Jed on a regular basis, if you hit grass, you don't know what's going to happen. It can bounce, it can go in different directions. If you're knocking it down somebody's throat, it makes a difference, and it was that the one where Struan Hutchison kicked it through. It bounced awkwardly for Ben Gill. They got a bit of momentum off the back of it, and they scored off that as well. So yeah, fine margins in games like this, but yeah, cracking entertainment for Boxing Day, and good to see that at least this fixture continues on Boxing Day, and they served up a good treat for what could only be described as probably about the biggest crowd of the season down here at Netherdale.
So no change then at the top of the BSPC Border League table. Gala unable to take their opportunity to at least go level with Selkirk at the top. Melrose do open their account, having been defeated by Selkirk in their only game so far. They get themselves up to the 4-point mark in the table, winning both those first points of the season in the Border League, and just as importantly, local bragging rights, winning the Waverley Cup for the 9th time. So everybody thoroughly entertained here at Netherdale, and it's Melrose who go home with the win. It finished at Netherdale, Gala 14, Melrose 21.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
Yes, welcome back to Netherdale, where it's ended here. Gala 14, Melrose 21. It was an incredible match, I have to say. And Iain Heard still with us at the moment. We're going to get words from Angus Dunn very shortly, whilst he gets ready. Just to say that we've seen some dire border derbies in the past. You certainly can't call that one a dire border derby.
Absolutely not, Stuart. No, it was exciting from start to finish. You know, Gala went out early on and really took it to Melrose, and then Melrose came back. And a fairly even first half, so really enjoyable. And then second half it was pretty much the same. And then I think, as I said to Bruce just at the end of the commentary there, probably those two tries back to back by Melrose probably seemed to knock the stuffing out of Gala a little bit. But then they got back in the game. They had a great last 5-10 minutes, great opportunities. Just unfortunate that Melrose just defended that a little bit better. Maybe there was one or two lunges went too far, or they just took the wrong option a couple of times. But absolutely nothing against what they did. They Melrose defended really well, Gala attacked really well, and it's just maybe a bounce of a ball or just one step left instead of step right, which makes the big difference between scoring a try and being knocked backwards in the tackle.
We'll hear more from you very, very shortly, but we've been joined at the back of the stand by Angus Dunn, captain of Gala. That was tense, wasn't it?
Yeah, right down to the wire, which I suppose for the supporters and the on-watchers as such, it's what they want to see. Unfortunately, we did come out on the wrong side of that, but it's probably a performance that we can be proud of, I would have said. Yeah, certainly, because you came out of the blocks firing, didn't you? The first 10 minutes it was all Gala, then they came back into it. Their defence proved very, very strong as well, and you had problems getting over that line, but eventually you did, and right at the end you had basically 10 minutes of pressure. Yeah, no, credit to Melrose. I'd say today they really turned up with their defence. A lot of dominant hits, two-men tackles. It's very hard to get gain line at that. We maybe should have started to look to move the ball a wee bit wider with our tips, etc. But no, it was a very tough game, physical game. They probably won that physical edge, which we're a wee bit disappointed in. But like you said, it was 14-all. It could have gone either way. And sometimes when they get back-to-back tries, or they go ahead, we can sometimes head go down, but we never did there. We fought right to the end, even in the chance to try and get that draw, but it just didn't quite come off. It could have been a lot more tries than that. Obviously, it ended 21-14, 5 tries in all converted that we saw. But a real enjoyable match, certainly for the spectators, but no doubt for the players as well. Yeah, I know that's the thing. Although maybe it wasn't there's been higher scoring games in the past, but the fact that it was close and it was tight the whole way through, it does make it exciting. I don't know if it was just maybe Melrose have a wee bit more experience playing at a higher level this season, just a wee bit more control of the game, which they maybe will be able to see it out. But no, hugely proud of the boys. They stuck in so well, and the physicality just need to up that a wee bit. Certainly in our defence, because they carried hard and made a lot of gain line anyway. There's something really special about the Waverley Cup, isn't there? Aye, I know. I don't know what it's about. As in you kind of get Christmas out of the way, and this is your Christmas day for the boys that are playing. It's bigger. It's a cup final. Silverware on the line every year. It's an absolute privilege and honour to play in them. Huge honour to put on that jersey on Boxing Day and represent the town. A huge attendance. I don't know what would have been here, 2,000 maybe today. Delayed kick-off because they're still getting in the gates. Was that what it was for? Yeah, they were still queued down to the college. So it just shows as in that added the wee bit of extra passion, the fact that everyone's coming down to watch, you just put that a little bit more 10% in for it. The added spice, of course, it was a Border League game as well. You had an opportunity to go level with Selkirk at the top of the table, but again, very competitive. You're playing some great stuff at home. Yeah, I know. I still can't put a finger on it, as in how some days away we can't perform, and then at home we really get stuck in. And I think it is down to a lot of the home crowd, the passion that they bring to our play, and everyone's proud to be down at Netherdale, especially on a day like today. So yeah, can't take it away for the boys. They did stuck in really well.
One big plus, of course, you have this extra match today over the Christmas period, which isn't going to be replicated outside of the area. So you've got this big match behind you, and then, of course, January the 11th, you're back again playing a league match, and of course you've got Glasgow Accies coming down here, and I think you owe them a one.
Yeah, I know. They did us quite a big defeat up there, so it would be nice to turn that around when they come down on the 11th.
Your away form hasn't been fantastic this year, has it?
No.
But here at Netherdale, it's like putting on a switch, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I genuinely think it's down to the passion that the crowd and the club brings when we're playing here. So players can't thank everyone that comes down to watch us enough.
Well, it's a narrow defeat for Gala today. It's 9-6 in the series in the Waverley Cup now, so they've got 3 ahead of you. But certainly every player from both sides put everything into it today, blooded some new talent as well. Many congratulations on your efforts today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's Angus. We'll try and get the Melrose perspective very, very shortly, all being well. But let's go back to Iain for a second. We mentioned there that there was a lot of young blood being blooded today, including your nephew Jamie Bell, who had a great opportunity out there, a good run as well. But I mean, just a fantastic occasion.
Absolutely. It's a funny one because I can remember many years ago when I was young. You used to come down to these games. There'd be 2,000. I've refereed club games in Scotland that were 1,500, 2,000. Strange enough, well, not strange enough. It's an obvious one. They were all border games. Selkirk Hoyks, Melrose Hoyks, that sort of thing. And it's a fantastic atmosphere. And this is what we want to get back to. It's a good day. Yeah, I know it's Boxing Day and everybody's available, and looking on the monitor and looking around the crowd, there's quite a few people from other clubs as well that turn up and get a bit of rugby fix, and you put on a game like this. Conditions are good. It's 9-10 degrees on the 26th of December. There's no wind, no rain. It's a fantastic day out for people. Club will do well out of it, which is always another bonus. It's a cracking occasion, and absolute credit to all 325 players that played today, because every single one of them contributed. We talked about it at half time, as I said, that there could be a bit of a lull in the second half when players go off and changes, and it certainly wasn't. It certainly didn't do that, and it was a great occasion. And I say everybody that played absolutely 100% contributed to what was a cracking game of rugby.
Well, thanks so much indeed for your own help today, Iain Heard, and of course Bruce Millar earlier on. I'm delighted to say that Struan Hutchison has joined us at the back of the stand from Melrose, and you've won 21-14. The series goes to 9-6, which is a nice big gap for Melrose now, but that was a tough game, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last 5 minutes probably summed up that game there. We were defending for a long period of time there, and Gala came pretty hard at us, and there was a lot of effort there, a lot of bodies on the line to hold them out in the end. So thankfully we came out on the right side of the result, just by that 7 points. We knew that obviously if they scored they would have had a kick to draw it, and possibly even some time left in the game. So no, it was a massive effort from all 25. Everyone got a good run today, and probably runned off a bit of their Christmas dinner yesterday. But no, they're always really good fixtures to be involved in, but we're all just really happy to have gotten over the line and retained the Waverley Cup this year.
It's one of the best border derbies I've seen in a long time, I have to say. I mean, everyone put everything out of there, and it could have got disrupted because there were so many people on the bench, 10 for yourselves and 11 for Gala as well. But I think at the end of the day, your defensive display at the end really did win it for you, didn't it?
Yeah, I think when we came in, actually, they said that the kickoff was delayed by 5 minutes just because there was obviously so many people that came out to watch the game. I think they were sort of queued all the way back to the Fairydean. So just to kind of shout out to everyone that came along and watched. But as you say, it was hopefully a good game of rugby for people to watch. It kind of went up and down. We went ahead and then we went behind, and then we managed to take the lead again, and Gala came right back at us, and we held on sort of by the skin of our teeth at the end there. So hopefully it was an exciting game to watch, and as you said, lots of different subs. We kind of unloaded the bench, I think probably on the 45-50 minute mark, just to get lots of people game time, and I think Gala probably rotated their squad as well from seeing what they put out in National 1. So yeah, hopefully everyone's got a decent run around, and we put on a good game of rugby for everyone to come and watch.
And of course it was a Border League game as well, so that's valuable points, 4 points on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. We lost our Border League game. I think it was against Selkirk at the Green Yards. We threw that one away right at the end. So we've managed to tick this one off here. We've obviously still got a long way to go in that competition, but I think it's really important that league still goes ahead. I think those border derbies, those games are really important, and the fact we can double header them with a Premiership or a National One, and then we've got to play teams like Peebles, etc. to fulfil those fixtures. But yeah, I think for younger players or players to get some game time, some experience, possibly coming back from injury, I think they're really valuable fixtures. I remember being a little bit younger, that was when you got sort of bled in and got some valuable game time in those games. So I think it's a really important competition, and the fact you can double them up obviously helps just with the fixture card.
Great to have this fixture as well over Christmas period, because Musselburgh I don't think will be playing any game, and that's who you've got next at the Green Yard. So this fixture is going to do you the world of good.
Absolutely, and that was something that the coaches mentioned at the end there. The Edinburgh teams in the Premiership or in National One, I guess, won't be having those kind of festive fixtures. So we played Watsonians on the 14th of December to then play Musselburgh. I think it's the 11th of January. It's quite a long gap. So to get a hit out, to get a run out there is only going to put us in a good position. I think thankfully no injuries, lots of rotation. Rolly Brett, for example, he got rested today. He didn't play at all. We've got Donald Crawford, Douglas Crawford, Karen Little-Niggles, Craig Fairbairn. So hopefully come into January they'll be back fighting fit, and we'll be in a good place for the second half of the season.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining us, Struan, at the back of the stand, and congratulations on the win today.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
And that's just about it from the team today. Bruce Millar and Iain Heard, Kelly Riddle, Barbara Shield, Rebecca Lindsay. Television highlights for Gala and Melrose, that'll be online tomorrow at our website at bordersrugby.net. But from me and the team, good night.